Cek. What's up guys? Welcome back. Kita akan lanjut lagi Watch Party Paperrex versus GENG. Oke teman-teman, welcome teman-temannya yang baru hadir teman-teman ya. Kita Watch Party dulu guys. By the way, selamat hari Minggu. Selamat last day of the puasa guys ya. Besok lebaran, nanti malam kita makan lontong sayur.
Swap up the roles a little bit more or embrace maybe a little bit more double duelist on certain maps that they have played in the past, because it used to be their core identity. And you're seeing a lot of other teams in Pacific right now. DRX we'll see later being a perfect example of that, flex into playing a double duelist to change things up. So there's absolutely no reason why Paperrex shouldn't be doing that, as well as exploring a bit more of a standard style.
Now with this role swap, I don't know if it's directly correlating to this, as last year we saw them do quite well on defense, but this year so far, maybe unsurprisingly, their attack rate is way better.
I mean, it was an 8-0 start on Haven. We all saw how
Apakah
dominant that
Batman
was
main
when
bang?
they had
Enggak,
a really good game plan going for them, but the defense against DRX
Anjir
really
do,
was not
attack
it.
semua guys,
It was
attacker
pretty
banget
much all
Paperrex
double
guys.
jamming. I think I wonder what the cause of that is. Is it like communication issues? Is it betting into those roles?
Bang, jangan
for
dong
someone like
guys,
GENG, where your
jangan
controller has to be
tega
a bit more of
guys.
an anchoring presence and has to lock down sites and things like that? Is that the issue? Is Mindfreak maybe less comfortable on the Sentinel, even if it fits his more kind of passive, stable kind of style? So
yeah, for me, I felt like they froze up on their defender sides. I think I want to see them stay being aggressive. I want to see them re-clearing space, do what they do best. But I felt like from watching them, they were too passive, they were too static, and they let the kind of
Pokoknya bisa, masa Paperrex enggak bang? Ya juga ya. Belum bisa, Paperrex harusnya bisa guys.
Don't be scared. That's the number one thing. They have to come out with some courage today.
Yes, I completely agree.
Tapi jujur gue nggak tahu guys,
They've collected a lot of accolades over the last 2 years.
Gue tuh kadang merasa sometimes gue nggak mau terlalu overconfident guys ya.
And in that process, of course, they've grown a massive fan base here, and I can imagine the stadium is full. I'm looking behind me now. Yes, it is full. They have a huge fan base, and I think there are a lot of expectations. Yep. Now, speaking of expectations, Suggest, as we mentioned, has joined this roster.
Jadi komunitas kita musangnya mancio jahat.
Mana nih
Bakapa guys? Bakapa biasa udah ajak Watch Party guys.
And Mindfreak switching from the controller to the Sentinel role. Now,
mana Jesse crop topnya bang agak ada.
That's the biggest reason, right? We see Suggest, who is now flexing across to that Sentinel role when he wasn't historically, and Mindfreak is doing the same. So they're both kind of new to this role, and I think both of them won't have been fully happy with their performances, right, Pilsky?
I don't think so. I think Suggest was a straight-up liability on Ascent. On Haven, he started to get warmed up, and he even had some very, very nice mechanical moments. For Mindfreak, I see it as a bit more of a natural
main sih
transition for him.
kayaknya GENG sih yang diganti bang, kalau something masih oke dia main agent lain. Let's see guys, GENG kemarin juga nggak better gak jelek banget. Oke, map. Icebox di band. Evan, oh Evan.
So it's a bit more of a
Lotus diambil GENG, nice.
Look at the
video
here.
lumayan kuat harusnya. Fracture, nice fracture.
One already for me looking at what PRX is going to be
wanting to bring.
PRX select
Sisa.
Fracture. It's a map they've had a lot of success on in kickoff despite not having success overall. And GENG looked horrific on it against RRQ.
Yeah, I think these initial 2 bans are interesting. We see PRX stay banning Ascent, even though GENG's Ascent looked quite shaky last week. So yes. I was almost expecting a pivot, and we see GENG banning out Icebox, which was the one map PRX won last week. So a nice respect on bear from GENG. They clearly don't want to go against the Waylay there.
I just want to mildly mention, we used to show the map.
Apakah Waylay-nya per second akan menggila guys?
Of teams like GENG, they take so long.
They are there forever.
They go through like the Excel sheet and find every possibility and variable.
No Sentinel guys ya. Paperrex no Sentinel guys.
Icebox, GENG banning it off the rip here. Let's talk about predictions. We did see it come up for a second earlier. Why have you decided to go for GENG today?
I think Ash and Suggest just need a little bit more time. I think they needed to settle into the roles. Now it's week 2. They'll have done a lot of review from last week.
Mode Zen hari ini nggak boleh marah-marah bang.
From them. So I think they'll have fixed their mistakes for this last week.
All right, well, fair enough. I think this is a really hard one to predict.
Doain guys.
Stage now to welcome GENG versus Paperrex.
GENG versus Paperrex. Udah dekat guys, doain guys. THOR ini nggak main V bang. Nah, ini mau ada Walter Tiongha dong bang, berak. Yoru gak sih guys? Mode Yoru gak sih? Yoru di Lotus gak sih? Ah udah gak main lagi, kagak kan ini kagak, ini kan mode point. Kalau kalah masalahnya poinnya akan dibawa banget. Say Bumblebee, what you wanna want for me?
2025 VCT Pacific, Stage 1.
Nice.
Rise Pacific.
Bang, coba efek zoom itu bang, zoom apa? Zoom. Bubur zoom. Guys, gue pengen beli makan guys, cuman kalian ngeliat gue makan, kalian ngiler nggak guys? Yeay. Yang lolos kalau nggak salah diambil 4 ya? Per tim apa? Buat playoff. Masih lama guys.
We witnessed two giants, two of the region's iconic teams facing off not from the top, but from the middle of the storm. GENG once hailed
Keren, kamu turu aja Keren ya, jangan bangun-bangun Keren.
Meteoric rise now arrive with something to prove. Their recent stumble raises questions, and today they are here to answer them.
A lot of doubts on this team after that week one. Boom got a big upset win, and GENG did not look like themselves. Even in kickoff, they did not manage to make it to Masters Bangkok. On such a historic organization like GENG, that can't continue. They need to change things around today to try and get some momentum back for playoffs.
And on the other side, we have Paperrex, the pioneers of aggressive gameplay. Don't call it controlled chaos, Alex says. They're looking to find their rhythm again after an increasing number of missteps.
Yeah, this was the matchup that we got in the grand final of Stage 1 last year. And now
oh my
both
god.
of these teams looking much shakier than they did a year ago.
Main bang, kagak main guys. Gua rasa Pemain bakal main kalau Paperrex udah kayak menang 2 kali 3 kali guys.
On the board and kind of curry their favors to be able to get in towards that next stage of the tournament, in towards the playoffs.
This is a big one. I know this is weighing heavily on both teams. They're feeling very similarly. They have so many accolades to their name at this point, and their recent stumbles have a lot of people questioning. There's a lot of pressure from the fans, the audience, I'm sure their bosses. And we have Coach Solo and Alex here. Oh my god! They've never hugged each other before. That was the first time.
I think it's worth noting. It's almost a different kind of pressure, right? Before,
a
lot of pressure to win in a way, where they've been at the very top of the pack. But now,
ada cow dari Korea dia guys. Oh yeah.
The pressure is to not lose. It's to not be the bottom. It's a different type of pressure. It'll be something these players aren't exactly used to. They're not used to being near the bottom of those group standings. So it will feel quite different.
Who's the underdog, right? Usually there's
an underdog. Jago guys. Inisiator playnya jago bro.
They've never even lost the opening game in Pacific ever until this season. So they've never been in this position going 0-1 down at the start of a tournament and having to turn it back around. And part of that comes down to just the huge changes that they've had to make and how many different adaptations they've had to bed in these new players into their roster. So I think PRX
tapi nggak bisa coba-coba lagi posisi kalah sekali guys. Harusnya guys posisi kalah sekali, nggak mungkin sebuah tim lagi kalah sekali terus coba-coba guys. Atau mungkin belum tajam banget pakai roster yang emang dia udah lagi latihan. Batman main nggak main.
Now is the chance for you to kind of get back on course a little bit, which is something both these teams need to grab with both hands. You can't let this opportunity slip.
Betul lagi pengen lihat tuh Paperrex nih defendernya nih kurang bet nih.
We saw a bit of it come from Paperrex last week. Some interesting ideas, but a lot of it did fall flat. Is that a matter of just, you know, things they practice in scrims not coming to fruition on the stage, or is it something else? And it looks like they're keeping.
Oh, tetap waylay guys.
Staying with that waylay with the breach Teo. It's a nice look to this map, but they
Okay.
fix their defender side mistakes.
Over on the side
Jason!
of GENG, this is about as
Kasih tau Son, anjay.
Innovation from them. They've swapped out Killjoy for Vice.
Whoa.
They're going to be playing the meta comp again. And actually, this is the first change they've made in 30 games of Lotus. They have literally only swapped the Sentinel in 30 games of Lotus, guys. So that's about the biggest change you're going to get out of GENG.
Mark your calendars. We got change on GENG, and maybe that's what we need. We're seeing change from both of these sides.
Pengen beli makan
Now,
tapi bingung makan apa bro,
Pacific
sumpah.
fans, you know when GENG and Paperrex face off, it's never quiet, it's never simple, and it's never, ever boring. We're sending it to our casters, Komodo and Quack.
Komodo and Quack.
Thank you very much, Victoria. That's exactly right. Well, you've got Komodo and Quack here, but yeah, it's a really big match, and you know, coming up from the middle of the storm, as Victoria calls it, this is also one of those things to think about. I know it's quite early on, you know, week 2, day 2, but yeah, just the fact that you've got this matchup in Group Alpha, it's quite scary to think that one of these teams might not make playoffs, just given how every other team in this group has been improving.
Yeah, I mean, that's it really, isn't it? Everybody's been stepping up when they're called to, and it's only the top 4 that are going to make it in towards the playoffs. So 2 teams, they are going to find themselves at the bottom, and I don't think we really would have thought that
makanan
week 2 is
lagi
where
kadang kalau pesan makan di aplikasi tuh bosan gitu doang guys. Guys, sebelum mulai teman-teman semua, mari kita berdoa menurut percayaan agama masing-masing. Semoga hari ini match-nya berjalan dengan lancar dan dapat memberikan hasil yang baik.
Something like that, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think Pilsky highlighted it nicely. It's something that I wanted to pull
I
out as well.
mean!
Yeah, 30 reps in a row for GENG.
Go, Paperrex, go, Paperrex, let's go, Paperrex.
With the Killjoy instead of the Vice, so changing it up right now, actually going over onto the Sentinels comp. So I'd be interested to see how they're going to play that, and for Suggest as well. Suggest on Vice, you know, he disappeared for quite a while, and now he's back on one of the newer agents.
I do have a question for you. I mean, if that is the case, you know, it's been that long since they tried a different composition, new player as well. How could that impact your performance in the game?
Well, I'm hoping for Suggest that he'll just step into something new, right? A new agent.
Ooh, nice.
Him, you know, coming back onto this roster, back with some old friends.
Ya,
I'm just hoping that they're able to
ini
find
sendirian di
something
belakang,
here.
bro.
Maybe he gets a win in this arena.
Possibly. Well, we are already off, and right off the bat, Paperrex already poking all around the map, a little bit into the B side as well, where Texture up around A has sustained quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, just floating around the side at the moment, however.
Oh!
For Paperrex, we know how aggressive they can be, but a little bit of patience at the moment, exploring towards the A site as well before ultimately settling either on a C split here, or if they want to try and bully their way in towards B. Ash has been spotted out at the top of the upper site.
But we also do have the Paranoia already sent out from GENG straight in towards A link.
Plan B. 5 orang retake mereka, buset.
The spike getting planted down, but now they have to push out a little
Buset,
bit more
Jason!
with the time that they do have, and a double kill instantly being found with Forsaken and GENG pushing off to the other sides in towards C link. GENG trying to hold back, trying to fight back.
Ya Allah, ini kenapa? 2 orang!
Will be able to rock them off balance, down to just Divide. He might have the salvos, but can he truly play this post plant all by himself? Starts off with a frag, tries to tap even further. Salvos in to deny the spike defuse, but Texture has a great angle against him. It's a headshot or nothing for Divide, and he's being smoked out by Keren as well, spinning all around. Keren sticks the defuse.
Ya Allah, kenapa 4 orang itu, bro? Astagfirullah.
Karen will get the last kill at the end of that one, but really, being
baru
able to get it,
mulai, guys.
came in is quite pivotal for him. You got to aggress, you know, 2 opening kills technically when the spike plant goes down. Some great C link control that they're trying to establish there, but then not expecting who else.
Ya Allah, tuh 2 orang megang util, guys.
At the end there as well, Devire's a little bit paranoid that there's going to be a potential later flank to come on through. 5 versus 3 conversion rate.
Agak, 2 orang megang util, cok. Aneh banget, cok.
Pretty early on, that's not something that feels too good, especially since Paperrex are starting out on their somewhat favored attacking side. Still, they're not backing down. We started the round, and they are already straight into the B side once again.
Nice.
Stinger out from Mindfreak, though. A bit of a forced buy from the team, and they're able to do some sort of damage against GENG. Instantly, mid-rounding it over onto the C site as well. Jing goes in for the Shrouded Step, where Suggest is now waiting for more teammates to flush through. Unfortunately, though, not quite able to find the shot. Jing will be able to open up the site.
Really well done to get in all together through the Vice Util. And a 2-player advantage for them as well. Make it 4v1. I don't think that Ash is going to really favor his hand at trying to win this round. So just saving the ball.
Nice.
What a freaky turn of events. Started things off with rifles and everything, but now
Davai suruh main Tejo kayak ini siapa sih kayak oke sih, cuman kayak jadi lebih nggak nembak itu kayak kenapa? Mikirin util kayak dah.
But still, just a bit of a surprise coming out from Paperrex.
Yeah, getting the plant in the first round really does
Mindfreak
help.
dapat 2 gimana caranya anjing itu, Cok?
Well, right?
How?
Lu
lagi mikir Cok Mindfreak dapat 2 gimana caranya, guys? Di B kan, guys.
Able to find a double there and
Itu 2 orang nempel ya,
Right, as you mentioned, Jing Shrouded Step to get in front of the Vice Util, and then everyone goes in together. It's a really good mid-round adjustment to come through for Paperrex, and that'll set themselves up quite strongly going in towards the next round.
Dapat 2 gimana caranya Mindfreak itu, guys?
Lesser weapons into the Bulldogs here. You kind of throw a little bit of a reset over towards GENG, who are going to have to come up with some good ideas on this defensive side as well. Because if you consider the last installment that we saw on Lotus for Paperrex as well,
apaan lagi tuh, guys?
in towards this double duelist. The next installment that they come into here is not looking like double duelist, right? GENG are going to be playing this quite differently to how I would expect a DRX to. So they're going to have a couple of different ideas and how they want to play their results because of that.
Tuh, through the smoke dapat 2, Cok.
So we've got to figure out a way to play with this
Itu namanya hoki, guys, ya.
form of Paperrex, which does look quite flexible. I mean, sometimes it's aggression. This time, it's a bit of a play off confidence, knowing that GENG will be on that eco. So straight into the C site. You know, they're doing their due diligence as well, having the refract and smokes all around.
Just a gamble stack from GENG. Sometimes it does happen.
Itu kayak nggak bisa jaga
damage here. You can have a bit of a discussion. Use these ones as a free timeout. Maybe you're just
mereka saving sih harusnya. Mereka akan mati lewat bom sih harusnya, guys.
You know, a gun that you want to take into the next round, right? So go for the hunt. See if you can farm up any ults. Just be, I guess, a little bit cautious if you're giving any more orbs over towards the likes of Forsaken or Defy. Having those sort of ults in towards the next round could be quite scary if you get one away here, for example.
Wow. Even though they are trying to set up for some of these exit positions, Paperrex are happy to go in for the chase and the hunt. Salvos, though, unfortunately, will take down a teammate. And that is very much points being picked up by GENG. I think Texture had an Altar possibly picked up as well, so he's somewhat close to a showstopper now.
Yeah, and you know, a player like Texture, if he's able to get electrified
guys. Mati dapat orb juga maksudnya. Dapat orb, mereka dapat orb juga, guys.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing.
Gak apa-apa, guys, gak apa-apa, itu gak apa-apa. Soalnya mereka mau siapa tahu menang, dapat 2 kill, dapat 1 kill, bisa dapat orb, tapi masalahnya malah mati. Tapi dapat orb juga. Kurangnya ya.
You know, you got to feel like every time he stepped into this arena, there might be a little bit of a curse.
Ya, Madafai nggak dapat orb ya? Nggak dapat orb sama Madafai mah. Teman-teman nggak dapat orb kan, setahu gue.
Curse with the ace from last week as well. That's one of the points of conversation. You know, the idea is just that if Texture is needing to, you know, pull off aces like that, then the rest of the team must be a little bit quiet. So we'll see how this all plays out with the full buy round now coming through. GENG with a bit of a stack on the B site.
Itu gue benci banget tuh orang-orang tuh yang habis di spray, di reload, terus di dalam smoke dia keluar, terus dia ngebunuh satu.
It's an opener though that I was kind of waiting to see which would go.
Jason panas banget kan?
And unfortunately for Texture,
panas cowok, Jason tuh lagi panas-panas jadi duelis, bro.
So it's going to have to be this massive flank where you don't actually have a proper flank watch to come out from Paperrex because they're not playing on the standard Sentinels whatsoever.
It is something that is similar to what we saw on that pistol round, the way that Paperrex were able to find Texture on the A site.
Ini si Mindfreak sih mati sih, bro, ini, bro.
That said, you know, even without a proper trap Sentinel, Mindfreak is now on the Sentinel watching the back.
See what Mindfreak can actually do here. Information would be huge for him. And he will get that, but it'll cost him his life.
Gak ada yang cek main belakang ya bro.
Team does to react against this. Salvos instantly just to block off the choke point. Smoke as well, and now Jing hiding inside of it. Is this the aggressive controller that we're now expecting to see?
Ini dapat anjing Keren gak jelas anjing.
On the other side in the farm of Keren will be able to pick him off. Keren continues forward, finds a second frag. And a bit of a trade coming through from Ash as well as Forsaken. Now something trying to hold out.
Yes, no time. Kelamaan dia ngeflanknya.
Already found up from the top of drop, and that's gonna be GENG trying to strike back, but still
Nice.
enough for Paperrex to fend off the defuse.
Sorry OT bang, aduh itu gua kagak tahu guys, urusan dia aja guys ya. Gak, gua gak mau bahas personal life ya bro.
Timing factor in the round, doesn't it? When you've only got texture over towards the A site, you got everyone who has the idea. Let's go through pillars, let's go through a mound wrap, let's just all go for the flank, and maybe we'll leave one to come back from the normal side of heaven.
Something
You're
dapat
just
satu
taking
bro.
way too much time off the clock to be able to allocate, the round.
Mapik bro, mapiknya si GENG kalau nggak salah. GENG. Paperrex fracture ntar piknya.
That really does favor into playing defaults early on.
A bit of a Red Bull clutch, but yeah, so now this is GENG, needing to catch up to it, trying to find their own aggression outside of C. They've got the one-way smoke, but the convergent path sent through now, and that's where the teammates get to fill in that space.
Biasa nggak ngecek, bangsat.
Finds the trades, now one away. Well, no, he actually has the Armageddon. A little bit of a tough spot for GENG to be in.
Yeah, you want to still go in towards this seaside at the moment as well. You spotted out a couple of extra bodies before, but you do have strength in numbers. The off angle at the moment from Hunter will be squandered. And now it's just the Sheriffs that remain here.
Oh, Ash. He was the duelist from the academy team, but it's not.
Lawan, coba mereka tuh kagak mau rotate guys. Lawan.
Having noted his position, still able.
Lawan guys. Kalau Paperrex itu lawan.
Left texture on nothing but a Sheriff looking to do some damage. One kill would be able to put him up to a showstopper, and that could be a bit of a chance. Pulls it off, finds something. Does he find Mindfreak as well? A bit of a stick, but Mindfreak manages to hide behind cover to pick the round back up for Paperrex.
That is quite unfortunate that the Sheriff shots hit the wall in that one, isn't it?
BG!
That would have been a huge clutch that GENG needed to come on through. I got to say, one of the weaknesses that we saw from Paperrex in the earlier series, and even stretching it back, was how they're playing out their post plants, right? I thought there needs to be some new identity that's coming in towards Paperrex. We need this team to start to figure out how the macros of these maps are starting to look, and I will say, they had some really good ideas when it came to how they were playing out these maps against DRX last time. I was really getting more confident that they're having a good understanding of how their opponents are looking to play. And in a round such as this one here, you really do need to have a good understanding because you've got more GENG players around the same side. It's not just texture.
Yeah, GENG beginning to find some reads and adjustments, stacking up closer to the A site, but still a trade found by Forsaken. Judge play coming out from Munchkin though, and he will be able to eliminate any potential lurks coming out towards the B site, but still Paperrex press forward past this toxic screen. Texture tries to hold the off angle.
Ya Allah, ini dua orang ngapain sih?
Against Mindfreak, that slows down Paperrex's pace, where then the Paint Shells actually does a little bit more as well. Tries to go in with a blast pack for a further frag, but still Devi finding the trade.
Munchkin itu kadang kelihatan nih map cow dilewatin gitu bro.
Able to put up a strong foothold against Paperrex.
Ketahuan ada orang situ guys.
The Phantom and the Vandals sometimes right as well, just getting that headshot for the 140. You call him Mr. 4K for a reason. Technically, you should have had that kill if it was the Vandal at the end of the day. But hey, you give them the pass because he was really just providing a lot of assistance and assurance for GENG in that round. Not dissuaded by the amount of numbers that Paperrex are playing around Rubble as well. Just an all-out fight, which you generally consider that's the kind of style that Paperrex.
Lawan dulu nggak sih, main lari mulu bro. Perak. Harusnya round menang itu guys.
You want to second guess playing around
pakai ulti dia padahal
GENG are looking to take space, take control. They're trying to force you either in through this lane, through B, or over towards A.
Mainnya kayak nggak lepas gitu guys.
Paperrex has been aggressing over onto the other parts of the map, so GENG in the previous round trying to get a read, trying to get an anticipated play ahead of Paperrex. Now with the aggressive play outside of C, maybe not finding too much, but still keeping a lot of pressure against Paperrex.
And this is where it comes towards the mid-rounding, the importance of it as well. What ideas are you going to be able to find out? Sheer wall, up to the front of A looks a little bit different. So you'll send in a drone to re-clear some space over at Mound. You'll just see Karon, but Forsaken wants to get in with it. I'm already seeing a lot of learning from Paperrex in bringing in this Waylay, right? Forsaken's not getting too far ahead of the team, as we've seen from a lot of Waylay pickers so far.
Especially compared to last week, but as we say that now, trying to go through the waterfall, Texture will be able to find him. Something though, looking for the trades, they push past into the site, but still
diperangin, coy, anjir, diperangin.
Smoked up now. Paperrex looks for a bit more space, a bit of a safe haven on the site itself, but still, it's not going to be quite enough. GENG has everything swarmed up. Something tries to go in ADS, but still Suggest finds his number. And there it is, GENG slowly but surely getting closer to tying up the score.
Defendernya pasti jelek banget nih guys, gue gak suka defendernya Paperrex bro. Harus dapat banyak bro.
Not really provided the way to be able to do so, and then you're in a, 4 versus 2 when the plant starts to get established. It becomes a little bit difficult when you're not able to set things up for some individual.
Utilnya kayak nggak jalan gitu guys, lihat gak sih? Kayak nggak.
So 4-3.
Kayak util masuk, tapi nggak. Smoke-nya tadi nggak ada ya, smoke-nya ya, short ya.
Able to activate either as well. That's something that Paperrex want to really try and instill in towards this one, you know, getting some really good Viper lurks, you know, got a lot of ideas from players like Meteor, for example.
Utilnya kena, tapi nggak ada smoke, terus tapi nggak ngecek ke sana gitu guys.
The player in the world to kind of look towards at the moment.
And that's what it
kayak
is,
banyak
right?
berantakannya gitu guys.
Those timings, if you are playing that role, I do feel as though it is a bit of an adjustment for Mindfreak. It's not an agent that he's never played before, but with the slight swaps and roles, you know, GENG now being the main controller for the team, Mindfreak needs to find the adjustments, needs to find his timings.
What do we hear Alex say?
Ayo, terus belum kelihatan nembak banget guys. Ayo, stall son. Dia pakai Waylay soalnya guys, Jason guys, susah guys, pakai Waylay susah sumpah.
You know, everyone has to play something different. I think Forsaken on towards the Duelist, you know, is a bit of a different look as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Jing on an Omen. There's definitely going to be that learning opportunity for him as well, and how he's going to bring his own nuances in towards the likes of an Omen, using it for second entry, using it to combo with Forsaken here to get in front of the Vice utility. You're going to see some really great counters, because a good Waylay can kind of counter every Sentinel in the game at the moment to get past a lot of that utility and stuff. So I definitely see a world in which Jing is going to be used as a second entry.
Texture lagi nyala lagi, berak.
But for me, some weaknesses that were exposed for him was timings on smokes and timings on paranoias, and that just comes with out for the first time last week, right?
Certainly.
So you're going to look to see a little bit of new life from him in this one.
More experience. But with that as well comes some adjustments from GENG, you know, playing a little bit more defensive off of this timeout. So 2-2-1 split.
Kena tembak lagi Jason bro dikit.
Anchor presence on the C side. I mean, look at that. Somewhat 2 Sentinels. You got the Thorns, you got the Sheer Wall.
Yeah, and the Sheer Wall wasn't actually baited out by Forsaken going for the jump spot just before, so he's already used light speed.
B-nya tuh rame guys, dia tuh pasti kalau dari C udah di C rame, dia pasti CB, A-nya cuma satu.
To just do the shooting. High-low set up in the front of B if you want to try and sniff it out. You still do have your drone.
Ya Allah! Cok, ada drone padahal cok, kenapa Jason yang nge-pick ya guys? Ya Allah.
That's gotta sing.
A little bit.
Itu guys, gue bilang guys, gameplaynya aneh banget bro, sumpah.
This is being played really well from GENG at the moment. You got to consider as well that sheer wall is still not popped. You can't really try and bully your way in towards this C site.
You can't go into C, you can't quite go into B either, and you've already spent so much
utility. Ada drone padahal, coy, drone dulu kan kalau baru si Jason nge-pick duluan anjir.
It just isn't quite enough. GENG continues to delay them with the snake bite as well. Yeah. What do you do at this point, Komodo?
You save at this point in time, unfortunately. There's not really much Paperrex can do with 20 seconds to go. You can already see on the radar as well some repositions from Karon over to the A site, because they don't actually know if Paperrex had already snuck up.
Defendernya Paperrex nih kadang suka burik guys, gue kesel itu doang. Defending mapnya tuh, aduh, perih.
And it's a bit of a rough one for Paperrex as well when you consider that they did go into this one with something on a Guardian, right? So it wasn't the full kit and caboodle that you do want to go into it.
Fair enough, but still we can definitely see, you know, some of the main points of focus. You need players like Forsaken and GENG to be able to create a little bit more of that space for the squad.
Jing harus main ini nggak sih, main post plate yang post plate itu bro, si Jing mati maunya tadi guys ya. Jing itu matinya selalu dalam smoke bro.
Refresh, right? You need to see good fault lines and flashes set up to try and get Forsaken into it if they want to use the light speed early, or if they want to save it for later, you're going to have to double swing, things like this.
Well, I don't mind that. So previous round, There's a bit of a falter towards the C site, but that does leave GENG to free things up a little bit more. Now you've got to just deal with a lone suggest, and that allows for.
Lihat kan, lihat bro, 2 orang kenapa ini guys? Ya.
Pressure, a double kill instantly found. She won't not tripped either.
No util sama sekali bro, masuknya bro.
Seen that exact play before, result in the exact same
Di stun cuman stun nggak kena guys.
With Forsaken going into a dark cover, front side, getting taken down, and GENG as well. And now, well, you'll have a bit of an answer back, but into a showstopper that goes a little bit lopsided. You're still stalled from getting in towards this B side. It's another untenable situation for Paperrex when you consider that the spike is also at the entry of B.
You're a car guy, aren't you, Komodo?
Yep.
Yeah. What happens when your car is stalled? Like, what do you do?
Do you do when your car's stalling or already stalled?
Already
stalled. Saja sudah nge-whiff tuh Saja sih.
Well, I push in the clutch and I try and restart it, but I don't think Paperrex is going to be able to restart something if you're out of gas.
Yeah.
Kalau clutch sih gila sih.
Right now, you've got no gas. You've got no leeway into either site. You've tried in for the dive into C. You've tried for the mid-round, you know, somewhat of a rotation into the B side, but even that gets sussed out by GENG.
Hang on.
The only thing that can happen right now is Mindfreak with this Viper's Pit.
Good volley.
Good to slow them down, but the Steel Garden, that gives GENG a bit more confidence into pushing straight in.
Gotta remember though, Viper's Pit, the day is
up by
here.
the back. Spots up Munch.
Yeah.
Ooh! It's just not enough. That Steel Garden's effect is definitely stinging against Paperrex.
If there was an extra second that he was in the pit for extra decay to come down, yes, then the classic would have been good, but it just doesn't stretch and cover a lot of the site with the way that he did position the pit, unfortunately. A good attempt, I got to give it to him. You know, you start to get a little bit excited that maybe he'll be able to come with it. He technically did have the gas a little bit on the Viper. That one kind of played into itself, but the fundamentals from the very beginning.
Saja sudah nge-whiff, Cok.
You didn't really need to see Suggest move too much around the C site, right? I feel like here, Pilsky said it best. I think it was.
Padahal si Baskin udah bingung tuh, Cok.
Series at the moment, which I mean, you know, if you want to get harsh with it, look, it was kind of true, right? But he didn't need to be the movable object in that round to start things off.
Yeah, in fact, just that one little play, the step away from that saturate. And the next round comes up, once again, GENG moving things across the board. A bit of a stack towards C.
And it's just texture at the A site yet again. Last time his head was removed cleanly from his shoulders on this jump peak, so you have to be a little bit more cautious as the drone goes in.
A bit of assistance from, I think, Keren as well, so the smoke to put up a bit of a roadblock. Munchkin holding the offense.
Itu dong!
Coming out.
Flash!
Support Forsaken into finding that entryway. But still, Nightfall already sent through, allows for texture to get
mati lagi, Cok. GENG mati lagi, guys. Sumpah, guys.
looking for another route, possibly into the B side, especially with Mindfreak to block things off closer to C-Link. But can you fend off texture? Yes, you can. With that, possibly the site.
Mati lagi,
and
Cok.
now a retake from GENG.
Yeah, see how they're going to play this one. Play a deficit. You got a bit of this utility that you can throw in. Ash on the horn. Paranoia already used a little bit early.
Would suggest as well.
Gue kadang suka bingung tuh mereka suka nggak aware itu doang guys.
Ash continuing to refill that space though, and Forsaken looks to get his way out. You've got salvos pretty much soon for Devi.
Not
quite yet. 4 seconds. Ash is sticking it. Ash is sticking it. Oh no! No frags found. Keren, he's managed to save Ash's life, and with that the defuse for GENG.
You got to remember as well, right? In this high-level Valorant, if somebody is actually keeping track of this refreshable utility, somebody knows how long it's going to be until the salvos is there. But you're getting the idea that, hang on a second, if they're going to use the salvos, we kind of already would have seen them if they come in the first couple of seconds. So you got that really quick adjustment to just stay on toward the defuse as well.
Utilnya ada nggak ada? Apa jauh-jauh gitu, Cok?
The spike is not planted on a line.
Astaga, anjir, jelek banget mainnya dah, sumpah.
And a win like that is a boost of morale. Ash knows that his read was right. Paperrex still scrambling to look for a round. It's been 5 in a row for GENG now, back into 8.
GENG repositioned as well, not in the normal spot that you would expect an Omen ult to be. So the fact that he's at the stairs is a little bit confusing for Keren.
With that, he finds one, but still the trades up around Baby Door. Forsaken, though, straight in towards B upper already, and that's something that GENG didn't expect. Paperrex able to fill the site.
They're just crossing each other on the A side. They have no idea.
A little bit suggests, though, ooh, a little bit of a peek over the smoke, and something will be able to punish just a lone Ash. And at this point, not a round likely for GENG. Paperrex were able to throw them off their scent.
Yeah, quick answer. Quick answer back. something that we associate with Paperrex. W Gaming, straight in towards the A side, a pivot in towards the B side as well. But Ash, I mean, he's given this one a little bit of a crack.
Yeah, why not? Round 11. Could help in alt orbs, if anything.
Nah, now
spraying
it's
over with the Prowler. Yeah,
now it's a bit too hard when you've got a single choke that you're going to try and, you know, break and enter into 3 of them. No.
You got the creds, you just don't want to
nice, dapat 3 senjata, yuk. Tahan. Masa gua tuh cuma 1 guys. Defense Paperrex tuh kadang burek banget guys. Defense suka kayak tahik ya guys, tahik banget defense ya guys ya. Cuma 1 masalah gua guys. Kalau taker dapat dikit gua udah pusing malah gua guys.
You want to try and change things up and you've got these little aggression points that GENG are trying to throw you away.
Untung banyak masuk ya nih.
Where did GENG reposition to? I called it a little bit unorthodox in towards A stairs because it pulled Ash away from the site. Karon died because of it, and there's a little bit of a shudder that goes over to GENG. But hey, I will say, look, last round of the half, you reset yourselves mentally to get in towards this new round, and you start things off by throwing down the pit towards Mound, immediately drawing out all these combos of utility to allow Paperrex into this C site.
That's right, Armageddon, Lightspeed, Refract, all spent just to get into C.
And Rolling Thunder.
The pit's already been
utilnya masuk guys buat masuk, tapi kayak kagak ada first blood, percuma nggak sih?
But will it be enough for Paperrex to really get a strong over the site? Off angle found, Munchkin trying to refill space and instantly deleted. Suggest though, able to spam through as well. So it's not quite safe enough for Paperrex to get the spike down.
Yeah, this is a little bit awkward. Everybody's going to go for a duel here.
Smokes and everything to try to distract them as well, but Forsaken still continuing to hold. The swing though, it's 3 players on the other end. Something for a bit of a double, but it's not enough. The spike's been dropped. Mindfreak was trying to set up a flank, but the pressure has already been dealt with. And Keren just marks his 6 as easy as walking in the park. So 5-7 at the end of the first half. GENG will pick things up.
Yeah, nobody giving Mindfreak any bite on towards that flank and a little later lurk as well. And even for the rest of the Paperrex members, they're in deep in this C side. So they're not going to call the situations to try and get out of there as well. I will say, you know, this core 3 of GENG are really putting in some hard work in this map so far.
Lagi, guys.
Started. We've got glimpses of Suggest getting in there as well on this Vice that, you know, plays a little bit differently for him. We've got Ash trying to, you know, do what he can as well. Some growing pains in that spot, but now, you know, you'll switch things over. GENG to the attack.
Yeah, you're nodding your head. I see you, Komodo. What do you think?
I'm letting a little bit of the cogs kind of turn at the moment because I'm also considering, you know, for the likes of
tahan, defending map ini guys, defending map.
When you think that it was a 10-2 half they were down last time, and 2 rounds is really not impressive on defense. Maybe, you know, the best defense is an offense, right? So we'll go play attack on this defensive side. We'll get up on in your face.
Gue sih mending sih mainin Pemain nggak sih?
A world in which Paperrex are going to throw a couple.
Ini kalau dua game mainin jelek terus mainin Pemain nggak sih guys? Coba-coba guys, udah gacha aja guys ya nggak sih? Bener sih mainin Pemain menurut gue guys. Gacha bro.
Somewhat of an assistant coach.
Moral support.
Moral support. He's shadowing him. He's learning.
Shadowing him, yeah. I gotta say, I'm kind of waiting to see Pemain KO if that at all comes. I think he looks deadly on KO. That's my opinion.
Back from the challenger scene.
Indeed.
We'll all see how it all shakes up. I mean, right now it's not quite playing yet. Paperrex still needing to work with this current core. It's been a little bit rocky, not quite the most solid. Especially when we're thinking about their defensive side on this map just last week, like you mentioned. Starting things off though, bit of a stack towards B, 1-3-1. Shaking towards stairs. With all that utility is already a bit of information.
Yeah, it's a lot of information that Forsaken can communicate on.
Forsaken dapat 2 orang
down, stationed over towards this A site. That's not going to be movable. And you start to see some big shifts from Paperrex around the map.
Kalau udah rotate guys ya, terus dia ke C udah habis dah.
You're gonna have to try and go for a couple of these duels if you don't have something.
Mereka akan retake 5 orang guys, yang status masuk 5 orang, lihat nih. Lariin 5 orang.
At the moment though. So if there is a world in which GENG are getting close into the C side or the B side,
kebe dong!
To stop a plant.
Well, this is interesting. With a drone out from B, Paperrex are now stacking up towards pillars with 2. Through that, they might be able to play around the door. But it also depends on how close Devi is able to get into the C side. So far, just not a single peep to be heard.
It's going to be a retake towards this C side as well, and there might be some early timing with the pillars approach that is starting to come through, but suggest on this lurk, finding first blood in the round, 20 seconds to go. Here's the plant that starts to happen. There's the salvos that I mentioned before. Not going to see that combo with the fault line because that's going to be for the flank.
Yeah, it's already quite painful for Paperrex, especially losing Forsaken as well. Now you got to worry about the back. And up towards the front, that's when GENG starts to push out. They have mound control. Now the only thing to worry about is Waterfall, whereas Paperrex still has to turn their heads around. Where is Suggest? When's he gonna show up?
Kayak nggak aware guys, di sana ada orang, Cok, sumpah.
Outside of the smoke, gets spotted.
Bingung banget mau ngapain, Cok.
Finally showing up at the back. GENG have got them completely surrounded.
Yeah, Suggest is getting involved in a lot more of these duels at the moment as well. You know, he's keeping up with the old guard, even though he is technically one himself. But coming back in towards this one, I got to say, his timing on that lurk was actually really nice. He kept Paperrex a little bit occupied as well with that flank that potentially is going to come on through. So credit where credit is due.
Gue bilang guys, nggak bisa guys, mereka tuh defense-nya tuh tinggal di main rotate udah berantakan guys. Paperrex tuh gitu guys. Makanya gue bilang defense-nya nih berat banget.
Find the first pistol, remember, and then drop to the force buy.
Halo tuh, nice.
Definitely something to think about. Paperrex aren't forcing up right now. I mean, it's a little bit too risky. A lot early. Rubble pressure already, and GENG are not letting up, pushing further in. Well, Paperrex getting punished
lompat begitu guys
for that risky gamble. And now just somewhat peeling off. Paperrex reeling from the loss. GENG will be happy to come back in and refill that space as a full, healthy squad. Another one down. Just Mind Freak left.
Yeah, so far so good on the
jelek banget bro, anjir. Jelek banget guys, mainnya guys, sumpah guys.
Early damage from some utility. Munchkin actually, if he's not careful, he might lose his life here from a stray bullet of Mind Freak. But hey, look, if there's only one casualty at the end of the day, that's fine going in towards the bonus round.
One of these, you take what you can get moments, but not even one found. It's
Phantomnya nggak drop lagi, Phantomnya guys.
Really stringing some rounds together if you consider the last one of the first
kasih orb banyak bro, iya bro, anjir kasih orb guys.
Picking Lotus for a reason, seeing a lot of weaknesses on Paperrex's side in the last time they played against DRX. So I'll be interested to see what this bonus round is really going to look like for Paperrex as well, right? What? Yeah, that one hurts. I mean, look, it was the ego, right?
Killnya belum 2 digit semua guys, sumpah guys.
It is one of those.
Mereka udah 2 digit semua bro, GENG bro.
Throughout everyone's minds, not just Alex.
Yeah.
But that said, we do have the full buy
gitu
now.
dong.
Something able to spray through these smokes, finding texture. That's a good pickup.
Yeah, lasering him down. You'll try and upgrade your weapon as Munchkin right now, but you are a player deficit. You've got a lot of Paperrex members trying to draw a containment field around this site, but that is quite awkward for Mind Freak. Not expecting Suggest on the lurk, but more importantly on the far forward angle that opens up the whole seaside. And look how much space he is just commanding at the moment.
Going to be able to throw out the timing, throw out the rotations from Paperrex as well, especially with the utility already placed down. Cycling through his thorns as well, which makes things a little bit more difficult for Something. Not just Something, GENG as well. At least though, Paperrex will be able to hold the angle from Waterfall.
Tadi nembaknya cuma nembak smoke terus, Cok. Bingung gua, Cok. Agak nembak kepala, guys.
And Paperrex now pushes in. They've got a little bit of time on the spike. Of course, GENG trying to play close plant as well. Like, take a look at Keren's position. That's the one you gotta watch out for. Trying to pull the attention away to the front, while Keren slowly creeps forward. Something trying to stick the defuse. Someone has it halfway, but Keren, that's when he strikes. Forsaken now pushed further in. Keren low HP, but Shrouded steps away. Tries to get ahead of Forsaken, but Forsaken crouches underneath. Finds the triple in the round, and the defuse for Paperrex to pick a round back up.
Yeah, enough time as well. Not worried whatsoever for Paperrex there, right? But I gotta say, for GENG, it wasn't like that was a weak bonus round for them either, right? They had a lot of that strong weaponry in the very beginning. It was like 4 Phantoms and Vandals, if I'm remembering correctly. And right timing on Suggest, again, you know, his timing in this map has kind of been impeccable for a lot of this contribution effort for the team. But just not able to hold it at the end.
Nembak smoke tuh si Jason oke banget guys, ternyata enggak guys.
A lot of utility. It's the numbers game for Paperrex that are getting their trades.
Menurut gue metanya ini, metanya sebenarnya udah bagus pakai 2 Sentinel. Tapi 1 SS, 2 apa sih? 2 inisiator. Tapi gara-gara Waylay guys, menurut gua guys. Waylay itu ngaruh banget, cow. Waylay itu susah banget guys. Lu lihat Dambi, cow. Dambi main Waylay kagak jarang banget dia top frag anjir gara-gara Waylay, cow. Enggak tahu kenapa masih dilapake, cow. Agent emang susah, bro. Apalagi timnya bukan tim yang apa sih util base, nembak semua. Timnya pengennya nembak. Itu yang berat makanya.
You can play with, you know, some snipers behind these toxic screens as well. So kind of waiting to see what Suggest might look to do with it around this A site where you've got Mindfreak out in the open. How is he able to get away with 2? Make it 3!
Further up front as well. Oh, but the Outlaw punches back. Suggest a bit of a trade. Ash trying to get ahead as well, but something will be able to deny that. Spike for Suggest to pick up possibly. Paperrex.
Emang Aaron tuh emang kenapa gue bilang kan bilang abang Aaron tuh menurut gue emang juga konsistennya gila guys, lihat guys. Mindfreak tuh selalu ada momen di mana dia bantu temennya lagi nggak nyala guys ya.
Suggest in a 1 versus 3. Back in VCT Pacific, he still has Sheer as well.
Ada ulti lagi dia bro.
Post-plan scenario too, that could actually be positioned a little bit nicely. The Arcros, the Steel Garden.
So chapter 1, he gets the spike down. What's chapter 2?
Itu udah, berarti di dalam side kan, udah dapat info kan. Dalam inside nih.
We'll see. He already has a little bit of information off of those utilities being thrown out. Ooh, but a bit of a dink that might have sealed the deal right there. Davai able to find a slight time to get into the site.
Gue bilang tuh makanya emang duo Indo ini harusnya tetap stay sih guys. Duo Indo ini udah jadi wajahnya Paperrex bro. Aaron yang selalu clutch lah tuh. Udah dapat 3 Aaron begitu bro.
Certainly feeling a little bit better off of that. Bit of a triple coming up from Mindfreak, and that puts Paperrex right back where they need to be against GENG with 9 right now.
Yeah, we're going to have a mound control fight for the very beginning. Again, see if Forsaken will get punished this time, who's getting you know, a little bit more of his own identity on this Waylay, though a little bit sticky when it comes into this dark cover play. Again,
aduh, saya awas Stinger sebabi nih. Stinger nih bro. Awas bro, aduh benci banget gue pas Stinger ini anjing.
It's still that 2-2-1. It's up to Forsaken and something to prevent this from happening. You've got the fault line sent through, but look at the flight path from Texture.
Kan gue bilang kan, awas Stinger anjing, aduh konco.
But it's just a little bit of damage. The Steel Garden pushes them away. GENG should be able to get the spike down.
Yeah, buys time for the spike to get planted here at the moment, but you still got to think about the close proximity because these Stingers, there's 3 of them in play. Well, now 2.
With a little bit of a hold from GENG, yeah, the Stingers, even Phantoms as well. It's really strong at this range, but still a bit of a swarm from Paperrex themselves. Will be able to find that bit of an opening.
Lari begitu ya satu orang ya?
The survival smoke on the side definitely cordons things off. Texture able to hold it all down. Spots out Jing as well. Munchkin denies Paperrex any joy in this round.
Yeah, big force buy from GENG. You know, they've already seen what Paperrex are liking to do around the mound control at the moment with trying to set up Forsaken a little bit forward on this Waylay, take the space, because Lotus is, you know, one of these maps rather, that a lot of teams are generally...
2 orang nggak aware ada yang TP di side, lihat bro.
Breach meta, or you're taking some mound control, and Waylay just adds a little bit of a different flavor towards how you go about that. We already have seen Paperrex go for mound control with the Waylay, and we've seen Forsaken, when he sees a little bit of util or a couple of bullets his way, he immediately refracts out. So I like that
GENG orang kagak aware coy yang TP ke set coy. Sumpah coy, nggak tahu lagi coy gue coy.
Wanted to challenge in towards the C side with that lesser buy.
They've always been so strong on the trades, Komodo, and right now being able to play alongside Paperrex's pacing, especially with that Waylay in play.
Lagi ngamut main kah? Lagi kecepirit kah? Sakit kah? Yang geprek kah? Ayo bisa lah. Ron berapa nih? Ayo bisa lah. Belum panas kah guys?
And I don't think you're really going to expect that if you
kan? Jason timingnya bagus mulu tadi, Cok. Hanya tapi kosong, guys.
Yeah, I see that. They've got the they're close to the ultimates, I want to say.
Ini mau retake aja, bro.
Possibly a bit of a retake play from Paperrex, but GENG, they're making use of the space. They're holding downstairs, and that could allow them to do a little bit more damage. Forsaken, though, will look to get ahead.
Biasanya udah bagus banget timingnya
For the
sumpah, guys.
plant, converted pass on in, combo a lot of this utility.
Refract as well.
Nice, Jason.
Paths allows him to find the third. And Forsaken continuing to creep up front. Looks for a bit of support, and that's going to be another frag. Defy picks it up instead. Keren now trying to hold it all by himself. But
Jason main
Forsaken
sendiri,
has
Cok.
everything. Down pat, a quad kill in the round for Forsaken.
Yeah, it feels too easy for him sometimes, doesn't it? When he's just going around, shooting, taking the lead as well.
Deliberately leaving A open.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if you want to, you know, you've got a Viper Spit over at the C site, you're having a couple of bodies behind it. Because
Kurang gacor apa Jason, Cok, sumpah,
the
Cok.
composition that GENG are playing, they've actually got a lot of drone ability that can kind of, you know, sniff out what's happening in the pit, right? If Ash's Prowlers are thrown on in, or if you want to get just the boom bot from Texture, you know, these are the kind of approaches that you could get in towards the pit and look to get through it.
So being able to understand what GENG are looking to pull off, Paperrex are able to find some counters. And right now with the 3 stack into the A side,
Allah, nggak ada yang aware.
GENG slows down the pace. Forsaken looks for the trades. We'll be able to find Munchkin. And with the saturate as well, look at that. That's how you use the dash. He finds verticality with it and takes down Keren. Mindfreak on towards the other side.
Tuh, Jason Mindfreak doang yang nembak, guys.
For the team currently.
Jason Mindfreak doang coy yang nge-carry.
Just the Sheriff. See if he can get anything here, but
Oh,
it's not
kan,
going to
lagi
be the
tajam
case.
Jason,
Another
Cok.
multi-frag round to come through for Forsaken. A couple of ults invested, but don't get me wrong, you know, getting for Dubai. Technically, one might argue that that wasn't really needed, but when you feel like there might be some more members of GENG, it's okay. There's still some more depth in this map to go that you might even be able to get that one back, and you're always going to be incentivized to try and help Forsaken in this kind of moment, right? Because he's feeling it. He's on one. He's feeling sharp. He wants to go for these jewels, and you absolutely...
Gila, Aron, Cok, anjir.
Not only do you not blame him, you not even admire
Tim,
him.
tar lagi, guys.
This is starting
Jason
to
ada
look
ulti lagi
like
nih, ntar lagi nih.
Paperrex from 2023.
Well, the biggest thing for me right now is coming in towards 2025, right? We've got Paperrex who are experimenting with a lot of these different role changes, right? And we've got a GENG who are bringing in Suggest, coming back, making his return to Valorant. We're bringing in Ash from, you know, the Tier 2 challenger scene where he's stepping up, right? We're trying to figure out what is the new 2025 identity for Paperrex. What is the new identity for GENG in 2025? Where so far we're looking at GENG who are kind of trying to play their style that
Match
they
kedua
were
nih
in
guys ya.
2024.
Ini match kedua harus sudah mulai
kind of the
awake guys ya. Kalau udah match kedua, match ketiga masih belum awake juga, anak Paperrex nih udah bahaya guys ya. Jadi squadnya udah bahaya guys.
Especially on that ascent.
Ini Batman udah harus siap-siap nih, Batman udah harus menajamkan dirinya menjadi inisiator yang baik. Utilnya yang serem udah dah.
And it's not really being afforded, right? And he's also getting really dirty in these duels on the attack side. So this is a really good little switch up for GENG, figuring out their own weaknesses. And on the side of Paperrex, they're stepping it up as well, trying to activate.
Ayo, bisa, Paperrex, bisa. Soalnya udah dua game mainnya gameplaynya tetap yang kebaca, yang nggak bisa ngeliat util apapun itu udah bahaya guys. Pokoknya kalian bisa lihat guys ya, kalau game kedua, game ketiga kelihatan banget guys. Kalau masih kayak gini mainnya itu udah berat banget bro. Mereka berarti mereka bakal gampang banget orang buat counter mereka guys.
Yeah, would you expect an
OP kematian Bang Cio kagak. Ini bukan OP kematian nih. Jason lagi panas sih guys.
Highlighted a little bit earlier. One of the good strengths on this map when you are playing a comp with a Viper as well is being able to reposition anybody behind the wall, whether it be into the open like we saw from Mindfreak earlier, or on a standard line to situate an operator on the correct line. I'm assuming that that's exactly the right timing on the wall to reposition Forsaken, and then the rest of the team goes elsewhere. So they're playing, you know, strong side with rifles, operator on weak side. And now you know where it is. So does that give GENG enough of an incentive to come and face the operator, seeing nothing from the Prowler towards A, or are they wanting to go to the C site where, well, there's a couple of bodies here?
You might even want to question who is on the operator. If
Indeed,
anything, yeah. Swarm over on towards the C site now. I just heard them counting down 1, 2, 3, and there's the execute. In with Texture, but still the aftershock of all things finds Keren. Smoke's gone. Showstopper might have been spent, but Texture in towards a deeper spot. In with the roll thunder though, something along with the other teammates will be able to swarm the site. They've got everything covered down. 7 seconds left. The spike has already been dropped. This round is over.
Yeah, unfortunately, GENG didn't do enough around the map to really bait out a lot of the utility from Paperrex, right? You've got in the end there, you still got something with a lot of his breach utility. You still got Divide with, like, you've got everybody on Paperrex still with a lot of that utility. That if you're looking to go into the C site sub 30 seconds and you're trying to set texture up to
Aaron. Aaron masuk set bunuh dua, coy.
You got to remember, this is Valorant. This is a game that is still a gun game, but abilities are quite destructive in this current meta.
Tuh, gue tadi udah deg-degan tuh, coy. Si tekstur nggak dicek nih. Kalau nggak dicek, mati dua nih, bro. Tadi hampir mati dua dia.
2025 Paperrex plays with utility and an
Kan diambil dari Naos Esport. Tadi sih si coach ngomong ya, mereka tuh sering nge-scrim lawan Naos, terus dia ngeliat Batman sering top-frag ke bantai-bantai gitu katanya.
But this time it's quicker from GENG, right? Up towards the A side with an idea that they can get in and clear tree with Prowler, standard utility to get on up. You'll still have to start to clear the site with the rest of the utility, however, but you've got an early C flank that's already noted.
Yeah.
Jason mau retake pakai OP gimana, susah ini, bro.
Throw Paperrex off.
Do they pit?
That's a good question.
They do.
The right time as well. Salvos will break the door. And the question is, does Paperrex have the retakes?
Oh, but Suggest is going way too deep. They might expect this, they might not. No, they probably won't expect this one right now.
Depends on Suggest's timing. With that, Suggest was able to turn around at the right moment. 2 kills. Texture.
Mereka tuh nggak bisa retake, guys. Untuk kenapa, guys? Mereka tuh harus kill dulu satu, harus first blood. Lah!
Shouldn't quite have it. And no, they do not. Suggest even more dirt into the wound. And it stings. Divine now, the only one left, looks to hold on to his weapon, but not even that. Keren snuffs it away.
Yeah, that Viper's pit at the tail end there. You know, the entrance in towards A covers stairs, covers any baby door entry in towards the side as well.
Masih ada duit kok, guys. Sama-sama.
Destructive one when you consider how much utility you'd actually need to throw in there to kind of get in, and then you also
harusnya guys, kalau misalnya udah ngeflank, harusnya tetap ngeflank sih kata gue mah.
That is spotted in that pit. Well, you're assuming
mereka tuh tetap kayak udah ngeflank aja ngeflanknya, bro.
GENG from the beginning of just getting rubble control in towards the A side, seeing nobody home.
Ini Jing bener-bener kagak nembak, guys. Sumpah, guys. Jing nembak, Jing.
New round though. 4 stack for Paperrex towards the A side.
S aja kill 9, Jing. Masa mau kill 5 doang, Jing?
And what could be one of their very last few buys. GENG picks this up. It's going to be map point, so hopefully the stack helps them out. It's Forsaken up to the top of Rumble. Ooh, finds texture, but still the sprays from Keren over. He shrouded steps way past them, finds the quad.
Jing, ngapain sih?
GENG, Divide, they all got blown apart. And it's just Mindfreak left to pick up the pieces. 3 pieces.
Jing kayak gitu masih nembak, masih nge-weave, cow. Udah ketahuan musuh di mana, cow.
Slowly looking for some placing back into the game, but still, it's GENG. They have so much that they can do.
At this point in time, it's just on GENG to not make a mistake here and give this round over towards Mindfreak that you've got to consider as well. Does he go for this?
He might try. It is 10 and 11.
It's a Viper
though. 4 orang sama 1 orang, bro.
If you are Mindfreak, you just feel so alone and cold right now.
Hubungannya gue kayak suges.
Gotta do everything. As soon as he gives even a little peep, Munchkin will silence him. It's GENG up to map point, and they are feeling way more confident.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this GENG at the moment has an idea of how they're wanting to play this map, right? They've done their homework, they've done their preparation, they're having some really good mid to late round calls.
Jing begitu kagak dapet, guys. Temennya udah mati 3, guys.
Right? Once upon a time, a rookie in towards it. We're wondering what is he going to look like in his Valorant endeavors, and he's coming out with now, you know, we're calling him, you know, one of the pivotal core members of this award-winning roster in GENG. Like, he's certainly stepped into it. He's the one to get it.
Shrouded steps his way all over. Calls out.
Nggak bisa sih dia. Kenapa dia kalau ganti agent malah jelek banget, bro? Harus main race dia kalau mau jago, guys.
I'm telling you, they are something.
Oh yeah. No, 100%. And if you are Paperrex at the moment as well.
Lah, gue nggak pernah lihat Paperrex menang map pertama nih. Dari kemarin map kedua mulu menangnya, guys.
Being fought by Forsaken for sure. We're trying to see all of this utility to help set him up and everything, but when he's losing his life and your early round game plan isn't going your way as Paperrex, there's nothing to really reactivate back for them currently.
And this is where I really do wonder what it feels like for the players on that stage right now. You are Paperrex. You started out incredibly well against DRX last week. It's just to kind of throw that all away. Now you're very close towards pushing to an overtime right now as well. But do you have it? Everyone's eyes in this stadium, even right next to us. The analyst desk, their eyes are all glued to the screen right now. And they're all wondering, does Paperrex have it?
Yeah, I mean, you got to consider the weight behind the names, right? Paperrex, GENG, Staples. And right now, GENG,
Gitu
I was
dong!
him, who's having a bit of a shocker. So the fact that he's found an opening kill here.
Repositioning as well, something that a position that Keren has played before. This time we see a little bit more of it from Suggest, but he's working. GENG is working alongside Mindfreak to anchor down the C site.
And this is a really stretched wide default as well.
Apa sih
GENG,
diomelin baru
right?
baru ini guys,
So
baru
what
keluar
can
aduh di
Texture find
spray
over
mati gitu.
towards this A site? What timing can he kind of coordinate with this Viper utility? Ask for Munchkin, wall up, wall down.
Kalau mati guys berdua guys, aduh nempel lagi colat ke spray mati guys.
At the moment.
For Paperrex,
Aduh kenapa dah?
Texture, look at that. The sudden peek out, even with a high-low.
Piknya jelek banget guys.
Able to find the frag. That just might open things up. Off of a little kill, Paperrex now peels back.
30 seconds left.
Divide. The salvos now as well. Can you combo them with anything to ensure a kill, or are you just using them for the time? It has to be a little bit of the latter.
Not unless you can allow for Forsaken to get it somewhat, but Forsaken's pinned down by Texture on the A site. It's just down to Divide and his teammates to try to hold it off. Convergent paths, but no, it doesn't quite connect until Forsaken pushes up with GENG. 2-on-1, does Ash have it? Low HP, GENG gets destroyed. Forsaken now out from Baby Door, makes a bit of a footstep out with a Phantom. Goes Ash! Crouches down, finds the headshot, the triple in the round, and bringing us to the final destination on Lotus, 13-10.
Very well played from both teams, I gotta say. We had some really great moments of these teams showing their new character in the server, but at the end of it, I mean, how many occurrences did we have of just multi-fragging rounds in a row from GENG, right? They closed it out with the 3 in a row there, 13-10. It's not the most comfortable win. A win is a win to start off this best of 3 though, and on your own map pick as well, right? We had weaknesses shown from Paperrex, though you flip it on over, and fractures around the corner.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty tricky to say the least. I mean, some great performances, you know, some improvements coming out from Paperrex, but it still leaves us a little bit wanting. GENG, on the other hand, significant improvements coming out from the likes of Ash and Suggest. And not just that, for Texture to be able to step up as well. I mean, he's found opening duels on the defensive side. It's Ash and Suggest to be able to anchor certain sites.
Yeah, I think for me, one of my worries for this roster in GENG at the moment was how are you incorporating Suggest, right? How are you looking to get him to bounce back from the last series? They're still a phenomenal team with a really strong structured core 3. But bringing in him, bringing in Ash, there's always going to be question marks with these rosters, right? I think that Suggest has just found things that were really working for him on that map, that he can bring elements of that into this next map.
Ini map kedua kesempatan guys ya, harus mulai guys, santai guys, santai guys, kasih map 2 guys. Kasih kita map 2 guys ya.
Better as compared to last week. But speaking of how things feel, I really do wonder what it feels in that Paperrex room right now. But before all of that, we've got to toss the question over to our desk. We've got coaches on that staff after all, so tell us what it all feels like after this first map.
What it all feels like? Well, I think things went pretty okay, actually, for Paperrex and for GENG. Both of them playing far better than they did last week and during kickoff. And yeah, it did come pretty close. So Quack kept asking how it feels. How does it feel?
It feels tense. Like, losing map 1 is always scary. I do think there were signs of improvement there for Paperrex. I thought in particular their defender side was stronger than last week, but it wasn't quite enough to get it over the line because their attacker side didn't look as good this week. GENG also much more solid than we saw in week 1. As the
Map 2 udah pembuktian guys, kalau map 2 nggak melek udah susah bro.
I feel like they were both actually present in the game this time and able to kind of hold their own.
Yeah, I felt like GENG really wanted that one. We could hear how loud they were getting.
Oh, they were screaming.
Yeah, we were on a completely another floor to them, and I could hear them getting rowdy. So they really do view this as an important game. They're trying to get themselves pumped up.
Nice Marco, nice Marco, Marco jadi moderator, Marco. Marco jadi moderator, guys.
A lot of impact for you, and he's really able to positionally play very well for GENG.
Jason udah kill 21-17, bro.
Very impactful multi-frags. Totally agree. I think Suggest in particular really impressed me.
Pokoknya yang emang tetap support lah ini moderator, guys.
He very much did his role here on Lotus, and he played the Senti role on the Vice very well, not only on defense but also on attack. So great game from him. I think Forsaken is showing really good signs on Waylay.
Namanya pengalian isu, guys ya.
Particularly with the ult, he's hitting a lot of people. He has a really good idea of how to use it. I really like that Waylay ult we saw down.
Pengalian isu, brother. Okay.
Dismantle a whole setup with a Waylay ult.
Yeah, they definitely have good ideas with the Waylay. I've been enjoying watching it. It's just a shame it's not quite getting them over the line.
Yeah.
I do think what's also funny with Suggest in a way is that you could clearly see PRX's game plan was, let's find Suggest. Let's run a Suggest. Wherever he's going to be, we're going to take it to him. We saw them go C and B at the kind of start of that game a lot. They were avoiding A and really trying to find Suggest.
Guys, ya. Tadi gameplaynya di A itu ngepick begitu tuh jelek banget, guys. Gue nggak tahu kenapa, guys. Up and down-nya tuh, up and down di mana itu kalau ke spray kena 2 orang, bro. Ya, satu guys ya. Terus mereka padahal punya util, guys. Mereka ada bridge.
In fact, let's rewind. Speaking of the beginning of this match in the first half.
Gue nggak tahu kenapa mereka apa sih up and down, tapi mereka punya bridge gitu loh. Kalau mereka pakai bridge padahal enak gitu, bro.
I see the Waylay double dash into sight off the back of the Teo drone. Something stuns Forsaken, he dies for free, and then Mindfreak does this, a double kill through the smoke with one clip of a stinger.
Kata-kata keramat gak sih bang, tiap tim ada masanya, tiap masa ada tim ada Paperrex-nya. Boleh.
Saw it in that last round with the clutch that Ash was able to pull off. They really weren't always on the same page, Paperrex.
Yeah, I mean they did a good job. I think there to get the.
Jason harus jangan main Waylay sih, dia harus main kayak Jet atau Res gitu, guys. Gua rasa, guys. Kenapa? Karena emang utilnya benar-benar susah, guys, buat ini.
This was a different little wrinkle that we saw PRX at. We said we want to see them be more aggressive on their defense, so he's running down C and refracting away on pressure. And this, of course, is that ult that we spoke about. This is the best team at getting value out of this ult, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I totally agree, and it's such a.
Tapi kalau sebenarnya Waylay-nya dia oke, tapi menurut gue untuk tim itu kurang, guys. Kurang kayak misalnya kayak Res kan bisa granat ya, bisa nge-defense. Susah bro, sumpah. Mending main Jet gitu loh yang bisa apa sih bunuh terus cabut, bisa OP lah ya kan.
I think the best player for GENG in kickoff, undoubtedly, and in that opening series he had one pretty good map, and then he had one map where he was kind of struggling. So I think Keren up and down, but still well and truly shows the potential to be the best controller in the league and can very much just win you a map when he's feeling himself. That crispy aim, the good old dot crosshair that always seems to hit the head, and the multi-frag potential, and positionally he's always just so sound. Like he understands exactly where he is in the round and what he needs to do.
He's so comfy on Lotus. This is you know, GENG have played so much Lotus. He's been on Omen for like all of it. He really understands this map. He understands his role in this map brilliantly. He's in the right positions. He knows the TPs. It's a joy to watch him play. And I'm glad.
Tapi terlepas ya, terlepas dari mainnya jelek ya, emang aim dulu sih, guys.
It's actually remarkable that he was the rookie last year on GENG, but now
ya,
he
guys, ya.
feels like a
Mereka harus najemin performa sih, soalnya most of the game yang nyala cuma 1 orang, itu yang susah, guys. Benar, itu benar. Tinggal konsistensi mereka aimnya aja. Kalau Jason nih 2 game ini udah pedes. Yang lain butuh bangkit gitu loh, guys. Butuh emang nunjukin bahwa mereka tuh sebenarnya emang tajam, cuman tajamnya itu tiba-tiba hilang di match itu gitu ya. Kayak suka kayak gitu, guys. Gue yakin mereka tajam, guys. Gue yakin mereka di scrim serem, mereka di rank serem. Nah itu dia makanya.
Coming into the roster, and I wouldn't be surprised if Paperrex changes it up either, because they played Fracture and Kickoff. They had some success, but they have been playing a lot of Waylay lately, so that's something we could see them play again here.
Yeah, we haven't seen this from either team in Stage 1, so I think whatever
Let's see aja. Kalau misalnya emang bener-bener kayak buriknya setengah season, berarti emang playernya udah burik banget gitu doang. Namanya juga pro player guys ya. Misalnya kayak Kairi guys, tim sampelnya Kairi udah pertandingan ke-6. Lordnya kecuri mulu guys ya, udah pasti kan. Kayak gitu lah, kayak simpel kayak gitu guys. Berarti retrinya udah burik guys gitu, simpel gitu guys. Misalnya Kairi di Onyx, mereka retrinya udah 6 match kecuri mulu, nggak bisa ambil posisi ya, berarti mainnya udah jelek.
GENG gonna be playing on Brim because he's been playing that controller role, and who's gonna be on the Senti? You know, is it gonna be Mind Freak or is he gonna have to let someone else?
Lihat aja dulu guys, nanti map 2 nih. Map 2 kalau nggak melek juga udah bisa menang tapi paling berdarah-darah guys udah.
I want to see GENG go into the Brimstone. Moving your jewels across the Brimstone is a very easy transition.
Soalnya yang dibutuhkan di Valorant bukan util, bukan apa ya. M dulu lah. Kalau nembak mah gampang guys, nembak tinggal tembak bro.
You know, your paranoia is a hugely valuable bit of util. There's the recharge on the smokes that you have to manage. Brimstone, it's drop and go. Then you become a gun.
Drop your smoke and you're a man with gun. Yeah. You are just a man with gun. You're a little toy soldier from that point in the round. Don't think about anything. Just do stuff.
So I do think GENG could do a good job there. So I like to see that.
I like that idea. That could be really interesting, and almost without a doubt that both teams would be reshuffling things a bit. I'm of course curious how GENG
sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Nah itu nggak boleh. Emang kalau misalnya di pro player ya kalau bisa ya minimal good lah, minimal good. Kalau perfect ya kayak kadang bagus guys, sangat bagus. Tapi kalau misalnya boom itu.
What's GENG gonna do? I'm pretty sure they want to close this out 2-0. Paperrex is a tough opponent.
Yeah, I think.
Kayak kemarin kenapa Boom bisa 2-0-in GENG karena kemarin Boomnya panas, dia konsisten banget ya kemarin, Boomnya semuanya nembak, GENG-nya Karon busuk, Suggest busuk, tekstur busuk, udah enak banget tuh. Sesimpel itu guys, makanya main Valo tuh nggak boleh, bukannya nggak boleh ya, kalau bisa ya jaga konsistensi, jaga aim-nya tajam terus, doang.
Look, I think breach THOR and just keep things simple, put texture on the raise. GENG is that
kayak Aspas konsisten terus tuh. Makanya kayak even GENG pun yang mungkin gua rasa pedes ya guys ya, apa serem ya. Kalau mereka lagi nggak konsisten, satu hari 3 orang turu, udah kalah kemarin 2-0. Nah Paperrex kayak gini nih, maksudnya Paperrex lagi kayak gini, ini yang nggak boleh.
They say Baker is on split, but I think it's the same case for a Fracture, and things have definitely changed up.
Yeah.
The neons are in. We're not getting raised
on the Brimstone
side either.
Yeah, GENG, I mean, texture was fantastic on the Neon on Haven the other day. Suggest not so much on the Cypher, so hopefully he's feeling a little bit more comfortable going into this one, but they are playing Breach THOR instead of the Sova.
PRX opting to kind of stay with this format with their compositions. We do see GENG on the Brimstone like we spoke about. I think this is a better role for him, and I think he should have an improved performance. Forsaken staying on that duelist with the same core supporting behind. Mind Freak staying on the Sentinel. We've been asking for consistent roles on Paperrex forever, and they seem to be delivering now.
Yeah, this is what they're going for. Just
let's see guys. Ini gua nggak bisa prediksi banget ya, soalnya komposisinya baru bro.
A lot of people are going to be seeing GENG not on Raze on Fracture and doing a bit of a question mark here.
Well, Paperrex does.
Tapi emang harus main Brim guys. Minimal banget tuh Brim emang. Smokernya Fracture tuh Brim udah pasti guys. Soalnya smoke lama.
Being a primary duelist, and it looks like that's the role here. We're gonna go into map 2 and send to our casters Komodo and Quack.
Oh yes, I very much so remember that, Victor, way back in like 2022. Now we're getting to see more of that right now on the stage, but at the same time, you know, just thinking about how all of those results from the very first map plays out, Komodo. I mean, you saw that shot of something with his eyes closed in that chair.
Fracture nih, Fracture di GENG jelek gak? GENG pernah main Fracture gak guys? Emang ini smoker itu butuh Brim guys.
So are they going to be able to draw some little parallels from that position and apply them here?
We'll see if that does pay off for them, but right now just
nice banget GENG, gitu dong. My god, GENG. My god, GENG. My god, GENG. Nah, itu dia Jason. Nah, itu dia.
Will still be able to rear his crosshairs around. Munchkin, however, will be able to push up as well until he gets taken out. All that said and done, Suggest was able to look deeply into the seaside and past defender spawn.
Yeah, but is it going to work for anything? That's the problem right now. You get an idea for Mind Freak that eventually the lurk is going to be there, and 1 versus 3. I mean, both of these guys are low, but if you're just playing to the numbers, you're doubling up, and maybe not like
main jiggle stun nggak sih, bro?
Hopefully not.
High-low. Oh god, they got away just in the blink of an eye to set up for the fault line. So just stays tucked away. You know, Paperrex, they still have the spike.
Yep. Reposition again, go for another high-low.
Again a high-low, and there it is. Forsaken to pick up the pistol.
Mereka demen banget high-low gitu guys.
More multi-frags come through from Forsaken. If this is, you know, one of the new looks of Paperrex where we're actually finally getting structured.
Setuju, Jason kelihatan gak happy. Gue bakalan ekspresi mimik wajah dan tubuh S3 Harvard.
Right? When I'm thinking of this roster, Forsaken, you know, on the duelist again, okay, that makes sense. But for something as well, right? How is his breach looking like? Because that's seemingly becoming one of the more common picks for him. And I mean, I think his caliber of play, he's going to make any agent look, you know, kind of above average. But Harvard really needs some great timing to
biar kayak masih dipegangin lo, dibersihin malu kan.
That's where it does get a little bit more tricky to be able to pull off these plays, but at the same time, GENG, okay, just picking up the alt orbs right now.
I do like that. I mean, frac shot, there's 4 of them. It's not a bad idea.
Play a bit of Pac-Man. There goes the second pellet.
Okay. Nice.
GENG, wow, a lot of discipline. He's not going in for the peak, knowing that there might be a lot of them on the other side. As I say that, he does go for the swing. Finds Ash, though, not too shabby.
Yep.
And smokes it off.
I mean, we heard it on the analyst desk, right? Switching duelists onto a Brim when he's not on the iPad. Just point and click. At the end of the day, Valorant is point and click. Just like that.
Just like that.
Itu dia. Kan nembak aja, asal nembak aja, bro.
Second kill found in the round. GENG still in the same spot as before. Now you've got Mindfreak chiming on the other end, but GENG with the information that they had from before, trying to look for the pinch against GENG. Texture will find it. That's not too bad. In the pistol rounds, able to find a bit of damage against Paperrex. That's a couple of rifles lost, but still, of course, Paperrex will pick up the round.
I was going to say, nearly a flawless
mulai ngetro, bangsat.
Paperrex now, they're going to have to, you know, fashion out some good defenses in the 4-lane map. You know, one of the things when it does come towards Fracture as well is you got to think, right, are we using the likes of a Vice Wall to be kind of a glorified alarm bot, right?
Pegang pisau, cok!
Oh my god. Going together.
It was the last bullet.
Yeah.
This borbakan nih, bos.
Now we've got the buys. And GENG start with 3 north side, 2 south side. Paperrex pushes out alongside the stealth drone. Stuns and relays suggest trying to stay alive.
Nah, itu saja sus, sebenernya menurut gua aimnya tuh mediocre banget, bro.
But with that, a bit of information and a timed read as well, GENG will be able to push into the B side, blocks them off of the angle with the salvos as well.
Yang defender siapa sih anjing?
Oh, but will you expect texture to already be pushed near spawn? The answer no, that is so awkward.
Pak, Valorant cuma butuh tembak, guys. Kalau bau mah bau aja, bro.
What happened? With that though, Keren left to kind of fill up the blanks. He finds a bit of a double, but still nothing much found after that. Paperrex will be able to
simple aja, bro. Mau sejago apapun kalau kagak nembak mah kayak gitu tadi mah udah pasti mati, guys. Kayak tadi GENG nembak, tadi nembak Karen kagak nembak mati kan. Tekstur anjing.
If you are just considering the shear wall's versatility when you're using it as a glorified alarm bot over towards dish where it more commonly is, you open up
Karon najis sih, suka Karon lagi tajam banget.
The attacker side spawn side of things and taking tree control, it kind of does make sense when you consider this.
Berisik bang, ntar kalah kenapa sih? Gua watch party, bacot pronto ya.
So hoping to expect more of that. You're on the defense.
Udah gua ngomong gini ya.
Proactive. Swapping onto different sides though, and now hearing a lot more pressure again. Back in towards bench. It's up to Mindfreak to pilot this Vise. He tries to reposition himself. There are a lot of smokes up around the site. Pushing out though, GENG will be able to find the first frag. Denies a little bit of entry, but still, GENG pushes past tower. And that's Mindfreak gone.
Oh, they should have heard him.
Stingers and everything. Yep, a bit of noise as well, but for Forsaken, just to land this nasty relay bolt, slides forward as well, looks for the third, but Texture answers back. Low HP, but still a doable one-on-one until he throws out the fast lane. Something timed peak finds the 4th round for Paperrex.
Just wanting to really get dirty with these duels. I mean, it was working how many times over on Lotus, right? Setting up for Forsaken for multi-frags upon multi-frags. He's just getting comfortable back in his own element. And you've got, you know, a lot of these smokes that they're playing around with. You don't need to keep it too chaotic around the side as well, right? Just get the gunplay happening. And it's working a treat at the moment for Paperrex. And I think one of the things to really consider here is we've seen 4 rounds. It's pretty much 4 different ideas. So they're really, you know, trying to explore.
Okay, please, Paperrex, I love you. You don't troll, please. You are 4-0 now. Please don't troll.
GENG looked to deal with some of those concerns early on. Wow, rolling Thunder straight into the B site, but Forsaken has kind of gotten away because of that sprint. So back in towards the safety of the generator and canteen.
Itu flicknya baru something.
Find a spray through the smokes. And now for Keren to try to hold, he's able to
Karon
find
apaan sih?
snaps back onto a texture, chiming in as well from canteen. A bit of a swap around in positions, and Paperrex are now finding themselves a little bit dazed and confused. Flashpoint out, but Spike not yet planted. GENG a little bit pinned down as well, Komodo. Still though, Paperrex trying to reposition themselves into sight lines. Keren and Munchkin find the frags needed to put GENG on the board.
Yeah, Orbital Strike is actually quite big there for GENG. It doesn't net any kills, but it buys some time and it buys, more importantly, some space. That shot to come through from something was absolutely ridiculous, by the way. But the fact that there's some multi
yang attacker siapa sih, guys?
some aggression through these
Paperrex tajam, Paperrex masuk saya kayak attacker banget.
But ultimately, right, a bit of a reset when it comes to that 55-second mark. Munchkin, Keren, they don't overpressure themselves, right? They don't push forwards and just try to get this round done and dusted there, and then they reset a little bit. And now you're switching into a new round where we've got this tree control back again. We've got the shear wall up at Dish to just make sure it's watching it. This worked for Paperrex last time, remember, and it's gorgeous to start off yet again.
Even with the camera and the trips, Paperrex are still moving forward. Just double keying it, as they've been known to do. Suggest tries to avoid by tucking himself.
Yes, jatuh tuh guys, jatuh.
GENG looking to recollect, regroup themselves, and re-engage into the A site.
Yeah, just to recontact back in towards it as well. Go through the shear together, try and explode on in. Bit of a contact play up towards it, but now I foresee the problem, right? You've got into the site, the spike will eventually come from Dish, because I think even Munchkin got trapped by the shear wall, by the way. You go for the plant, but you've already got a Paperrex. The TR,
Sekarang lagi anjing lah!
Just as you thought that they might have been able to get closer into the site, Keren into a deeper position, wipes the taste of blood off out of his mouth, and finds punches back against Paperrex. A bit of a flashpoint as well, and all of a sudden, GENG needs to turn his crosshairs away off of contact now.
Darahnya satu dia!
Defy needs to save.
Yeah. Not even going to be able to. Some aggression.
Rak tiap 4 kagak bisa nambah lagi, Cok.
To survive with that one, but you know, 2 rounds attributed to GENG. Multi-kills for Keren, getting 2 kills yet again to really get them back in towards this round when you consider, you know, Paperrex, W Gaming straight up in towards the spawn, looking for it, just over, just not really, you know, calculating that they're going to be over on the rafters. So nicely done for GENG. I wouldn't be surprised actually if we want to take a bit of a timeout for Paperrex soon. It wouldn't be too bad. You know, you don't want to afford GENG to get a wriggle on towards this attacking side. This is the round, though, that's haphazard, right, for Paperrex. You're not going in with a sensational buy. You've got some exit strategies if you need to stall GENG, right? Oh, that's unlucky.
Yeah, not quite. Not really able to stall currently, and a lot of oohs and ahs from the crowd as well with the war from before.
Mampus Karon lu anjing.
As I say that, Mindfreak, a bit of a push out from Dish will be able to pick off an unsuspecting Keren. That just might have splashed a bit of cold water onto GENG.
Not able to retrieve the gun, though, unfortunately, for Paperrex. So we're just going to see some moments of individuals here. See if anyone else can hit some sharp shots. And, I mean, if you're going to be tempted whatsoever to use a couple of these ultimates that Paperrex do have, you know, 1 kill, 1 more kill, maybe you're going to dump them in. Especially if GENG are going to try and play for the time here with their recontact back towards this A site.
Sendirian banget, bro. Oleh Mindfreak udah ke ini ya.
Moving up onto it. Utility now for the execute. And especially with texture on this Neon, able to get deep behind enemy lines.
30 seconds left.
Paperrex nearby, salvos on both ends, fault line as well. But the orbital strike has been avoided. That is huge for GENG. 20 seconds, and with enough numbers, they could still get the spike
There's still an
down.
Armageddon though. You have to bait out this Armageddon. There's 10 seconds and it's just going to be thrown in.
Trying to get their way through. Armageddon now deployed. And with that, no spike plant found. GENG
ulti banyak banget tapi kagak ada yang mati, guys.
Paperrex out of position. All the kills found in the round.
Yeah, not playing for the actual timing that the Armageddon can buy. Everyone trying to face the fights when that ult does go on
Dia
down.
keluar semua loh. Itu bro berapa ulti, Cok?
It's at the cost of, you know, all of the ultimates being invested in that one as well, right? Orbital Strike, Armageddon, Steel Garden. A discussion now.
You might need a timeout off of that.
Oh, 100%. If you're not taking a timeout at this point in time, yeah.
But what do you say in this timeout? You got a minute. Surely you can't reprimand the players for this. Oh no.
I mean, you gotta think for Paperrex as well, right? What's been working? Some tree pushes where we're getting really aggressive with Forsaken. We're getting some great shots coming out, and for GENG, we've seen, you know, a couple of moments from Keren who's been able to answer back, right? We're seeing them re-clear things after some
Keren turun kasih Keren, anjir kemarin lu nggak begini mainnya Keren.
Starting to play with the time, right? It's the old GENG style of you've got a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it's the beginning at the moment that Paperrex are winning. It's just the end that they're not able to.
That's what it is. That's always been what it is. Think about that 10-13 from the first map. That 8-0 against DRX.
It's not good, guys. It's not good, guys. Ayo, guys. Come on, come on. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
And me is trying to say,
Gatot. Ini siapa sih si Kantot nih? Keren yang sangat Gatot kaca ini.
Well, the
Serem juga guys ya.
professional in me is saying that there are so many moments that we're seeing really good growth
Kemarin
scenarios
lagu Keren nggak
for
begini
both of
guys,
these teams
anjing.
that, you know, this is the caliber of
Gigi
gameplay.
kuda,
that they come out.
Keren.
First week would have been cool. Right now, though, a lot of utility around Arcade. No casualties just yet.
Until, you know, more flashes over. Paperrex still looking a little bit antsy, trying to hunt down for some of these frags. GENG from the other end will be able to get that pinch up against two players. Texture, though, deep in towards tunnel, still looking to get his way out. He's got away with a couple of kills off his own.
Yeah, that Rolling Thunder actually out from something, not able to finalize Texture. You have the north side wrap crunch from Paperrex, where now, let's flip it upside down. Let's see GENG do it.
And trying to pull off one of their own, but mainly the objective of the round, the spike being dropped. GENG needs to come back in to take these fights against Paperrex, where Paperrex are trying to retain their hold onto it. GENG has a full kit of smokes, deploys his first one.
The problem is, GENG can just reset them yet again, more so than Keren, so you have to go for an aggressive peek. Mind Freak gets bit.
Getting a little bit too curious, and you know what they say happens to that cat.
30 seconds
Want the
left.
corpse. Give me the corpse. 20 seconds. Give it to me.
That would be huge for GENG now, wouldn't it? Something still close by. Finally being able to get detected. Still finds that frag.
Nice stun.
Off of the
Nice
other side
stun.
of the boxes. Finds Keren. Able to save themselves in this round. 5-3.
If Suggest was able to get off the neural theft, you know, would that have been a different ending towards the round? Would you have been able to start to spam through the box? Look, I don't know. It didn't happen. And Paperrex,
Ini Jing udah nyala sih guys. Jing udah lumayan sih guys nembak nih.
Towards Arcade, right? What did we just speak about? The beginning they've looked good in. It's the end that they've not really been able to finalize in those past couple of rounds where GENG were able to string them together. This time, they were able to solidify the end of that one and hold on towards the lead.
Yeah, pull themselves back a little bit, hold on to that spike. Still though, the next round, GENG will answer back with a little bit more aggression of their own, so a bit more space now, back up towards Arcade. Possibly looking to get Tower, but not quite yet. You've got Suggest all the way down tree. He might just get pinched though.
Yeah.
Not quite in the spot to use the camera, and with that being taken out, now he knows. He has to regroup.
He knows his time was coming, but at that point in time, he's bought enough for his whole team to get in towards the B site. Nobody's
Masuk
home.
B-nya bro,
There's
anjir
no
dilepas
ultimates
B-nya.
that you need to contend with on the side of Paperrex, and you yourselves, well, hey, let's just have a little bit of a dance with our big ones.
Take some big steps. Throw Paperrex off balance. So, but Paperrex able to have some steps of their own as well until the Armageddon gets deployed. So Paperrex needing to avoid that for now. Timer still ticking. Something though, his position could be pivotal for this retake. Flashpoint does buy a bit more time. A bit more presence being made known, and Jing pushes up. The trade found by Suggest. Fault line sent through, but it's going to be Munchkin that finds the trades right back until something swings out from the left side. Still more frags found for Paperrex to stick that defuse at the end.
A lot of the trades coming on through. I'm seeing a huge rat through spawn from something, not able to assist his team, but eventually will come forward, and the 1 versus 1, he will best counter breach.
Yeah, a bit of a counter breach, counter play. And it's that early aggression that has been tampered with.
Always like seeing the replays as well and how everyone's just moving around the map like
merasa Jing kayak nggak nyaman gitu guys ya. Pak Jing merasa nggak nyaman banget guys. Nembaknya kayak nggak biasa pakai duelis bro ya. Tulis tang tong yo. Sama Davai main apa sih? Main Tejo nggak lepas sumpah guys. Pas lepas dia main Sky. Dia main Sky lepas banget soalnya.
Like you said, you know, that's what Paperrex has been good with, the early start. You know, some of these wraps, we've seen them from the past 2 rounds now on opposite ends of the map. Now, a bit of a different pace, and it's a sudden peek out from Jing. Surely aware that GENG are trying to pull off the B-split once again. The aftershock from something.
Yeah.
Forsaken now from the back, and all of a sudden Munchkin and Keren need to watch out for many angles, trying to backpedal themselves in towards tunnel, but Paperrex just relentlessly chasing them down.
Yeah, unfortunately for Suggest there as well, the aftershock, he was not able to get out of it, and even throwing his hat in the ring, the neural theft to try and get all the information, well, it didn't really work out, right? A bit of a different look for Paperrex, because they're not really
biasa bang, Jing lagi banyak pikiran untuk kontrol belum dibayar, emang itu kill 3 tuh.
Clearing it out with the stealth drone and then getting the wrap later on, so I do like that they themselves have some different
top frag loh bro.
Slow takes in this map of Fracture.
Sometimes it's that variety that really throws off GENG's
Barusan dia bayar token rumah guys, lumayan guys.
Trying to go for the same site, 4-1 split this time.
Bang Yoi, Jing belum bayar listrik bang Yoi.
Freak to be able to bunker down this B site by himself at the moment, spotted out behind Dice, but being self-sufficient.
Gila main streak tajam banget gila guys.
Now to reposition against Texture as well. The overdrive will come in handy. But will it be enough for GENG to truly get their way in? The sheer wall does buy a bit of time for the rest of the Paperrex faithfuls to transition their way across the map.
Are they going to be aware of this top north side flank too quickly? I mean, you've not tapped your camera.
Yeah, and with that, just does allow for Paperrex to truly get in. Suggest, unfortunately, a little bit of a ball being dropped. Still now, Munchkin very much so alive. Hit by the fault line though. Jing's trying to hunt him down. Up for the one-on-ones, Munchkin dances around the boxes, and something will be able to trudge forward with the shorty, but the Red Bull clutch found by Munchkin.
Yeah, he answers back this time, able to win the 1 versus 1 against something, not drop it, when really GENG needed to find something, right? You're starting to see Paperrex get a good grasp on this defensive start from the beginning of the half, a couple back. You got Texture going in with the ultimate. He's on relatively low HP, but I gotta wonder as well, right? On a map like Fracture, if you're playing a Cypher and you've got this
kenapa sih Jing guys? Jing tuh suka lihat tuh lompat cok.
Check it whilst also layering in towards the side. I mean, getting snuck up on from north side.
2 orang pakai shorty, si Jing pakai shorty cok. Dua-duanya anjir kagak ada yang dapat.
It's still something that needs adjusting.
Yeah, but
of a different role.
Luckily enough, GENG were able to still win it in the end.
Yeah. Especially with Munchkin being able to pull off the clutch. 4-7, maybe even 5-7.
Ooh, this would be really interesting for Paperrex if they do want to rip it. I mean, there's 2 players here.
All they do, something that was somewhat pulled off before the waylay from last week, but here it goes. In with the frags and in with a lot of space being found and collected.
Gila, cowok ini defender apa sih?
Anchor down the B side as well. Everything going right for Paperrex in this round.
Absolutely. 2 versus 5 for Munchkin and Keren, and well, now just make it 1 in Munchkin.
Off of a bit of a timing, Mindfreak repositions into tower. So that's going to be now just Munchkin.
You would need
Canteen.
You would need a generational fumble from Paperrex here to be able to win this one.
I know we say that, but it's like...
No. It's not going to happen.
Generational fumble and a miracle. What's the story this time, Komodo?
Story?
Nice.
It's fine. There's no fumbles here. 8-4 half is really good from Paperrex, I will say.
Berarti emang Fracture mapnya Paperrex banget guys. Kenapa? Karena Fracture itu attacker defender sama aja.
Finding his groove on how to play entry back in towards this roster, right? Waylay
Gosong,
play was actually
gosong.
looking a lot better, even if there was, some little fumbles on it. But on towards Neon, right? Is he going to be able to do a little bit better than Texture was able to do?
Nice. Tough. Harusnya ini sama sih.
At least in the beginning, I mean, so far they were.
Cobaan map ini doang guys, Paperrex bisa dua sisi tuh bisa sama gitu. Bang, stop tertawa belum menang ini bang. Ya, senang dulu lah guys, lihat. Guys, it's not about all kayak menang harus menang. Ini game ini dia mainnya bagus guys, gue suka guys. Mainnya rapi. Lumayan rapi ya. Tipiknya lumayan rapi.
For a specific reason, right? No one really playing in towards the Vice with this assortment of agents as well. So we're going to see, hopefully, Suggest not be a bit of a weak point as well for them.
He was good on the first map.
Yeah, that is 100% true. But changing it on towards the Cypher, there's a lot of pressure on him to make sure he's getting the assistances and Ash as well. What's his utility combo is going to be looking like playing on this Taeho with Munch.
Apa yang mode angkal jadi buat frag dulu.
Both teams kind
Jangan
of
dipuji dulu bang. Ya dipuji dulu dikit guys.
Similar positions or similar circumstances. See how it all plays out in the second half. At least though for GENG.
Itu Suggest ada orangnya Bang Cio bangsat.
Yeah, we're gonna have just a.
Nah, oke sekarang attacker guys. Bukan kalau nembak ya, lihat kalau Jing nembak, Mindfreak nembak, Jason nembak. Lebih cepet kan, kayak misalnya lebih rapi kan mainnya guys. Karena nembak butuh nembak doang bro.
With the 4 stack. Oh, the salvos though. Okay, a bit of fault line as well, but Texture just able to sidestep off of it.
Aduh, itu nge-whiff sih, kalau itu nge-whiff cok, berak.
Frag of his own. Paperrex trying to call off the hit.
Yeah, now
into A.
There is only Ash here, so if you are able to best him, that would... Ooh, nice shot coming out. Yeah, corner of the wall. They'll get all the information though that Dish is still being played, so you've overwhelmed Ash, but already the rotation here for Texture.
Yeah, look at Texture. Kicking things into high gear, already into the site. Bit of damage found, but still the spike planted, and that would be nice in terms of economy for Paperrex. That said, GENG still looking to find this retake through A main, interestingly enough. They make a lot of noise around the door, but with force in numbers, the flashes as well, they will find these 2 critical kills just to buy left. He might have the salvos, but I don't think he's got enough in the frag department. Has to peek out, but he's being smoked off as well. Reloads, repositions, but Foots has been spotted, and that's gonna be Texture with the triple in the very first round in the second half.
Yep, good idea at the very beginning of the round, right? You use all those combos of utility to gain
tadi jelek aja guys, tadi nge-whiff cok, Jason nge-whiff guys.
You win the duels and you gain the space, or there's no one there and you gain the space anyways, and then you look for a wrap somewhere else, right? One of the big common things, especially on a pistol round, where you can play your breach flashes as well on top of those sewers. Really sharp shots to come out from them in these pistol rounds, not leaving any corners unchecked. Comes a little bit unwinnable for Device. So the way back in towards this map at the moment to
santai, pistoron.
around towards GENG. But for Paperrex, I mean, we saw this.
Beli lagi mereka cok anjing.
Get the plant down on that attacking side. They forced up. They won it.
Oh yes, they do. A lot of noise made already though, and GENG will be happy to dump their utility right back into the choke point. And allows for Texture to reposition himself so comfortably. The triple found. The spike
lawan Stinger 3 orang agak ada yang berat.
Around the corner as well, alongside Ash with the Stinger and the Spectre. Just
itu lawan Stinger 3 orang begitu nggak ada yang mati, Jing.
Sure, but 5 opponents off to the other end. Okay, we're gonna start things by opening up the door. That's a bit of a bold move, but a move that gets trumped nonetheless.
Don't need hard analysis in that one, Quack. That's just Texture shooting with the Guardian, with them all flooding out of the dish of the drop. Just see it back again here. He does work around that wall and the pillar of the site quite nicely, I will admit.
Kenapa swingnya nggak bareng-bareng sih, langsung swing itu bertiga bro. Ya Allah, swingnya atu-atu bang.
So if you consider the next time they're going to have their proper weaponry, well, it's going to be the round after this next one, and then you're just knocking at the door of Paperrex, right? Trying to equalize things.
It's Paperrex home.
Tadi udah seneng gue mainnya rapi. Attackernya harusnya lebih tajam nggak sih? Oi!
Oh, we still have yet to see them in this second half. I gotta say that. Salvos right now for early aiming control for GENG.
Can you find an opener, steal a gun, make things, you know, one step more promising?
Still the utility dump. Paperrex trying to find some headway, and it's going to be Forsaken in with the Bucky plays! GENG adding some assistance as well, jumps on over, low Munchkin, but Keren finds a tap.
That's silly, honestly. That is absolutely silly.
Still a bit more space though, and look at GENG, swaps over, hands the Bucky back in.
Nice.
And up around tower, now Munchkin a little bit afraid to push up front.
They know they tagged Munchkin as well. They know that.
So they're happy to stick around the corner, overstay their welcome as it were, because GENG, there's no chance in hell that they're giving Paperrex the boot. Suggest though, certainly will try.
Ini kalau
so taking down GENG, but you got
kalah sih guys ya. Kalau kalah.
Something holding up by drop.
Oh,
nasty flick. And you've got a bit
Itu
more
baru something yang gua kenal, bro.
In with a Guardian. What a round by Paperrex.
Yeah, that's a funny one, right? Who would win, the Bucky Boy or all of these, you know, better weapons? The positioning though, I mean, Ash was stunned up, so you got to give credit for that one, and then just mechanics on the ropes as well, juggling over different weaponry for Paperrex, but getting in, right? They're hitting the funny shots, they're then settling themselves down, and the eyes are certainly on the prize. You know,
Mario kan bilang kalah jadi menang bang, kan gue bilang kalau kalah sih tai ya. Itu kan gue nggak nganjing guys.
You gotta love it when it happens.
Put the music behind it.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah.
Don't know what that song is called, but I know what you're talking about. Still though, next round comes up. Paperrex not looking to slow down their pace whatsoever. Relay bolts from both sides, but now it's Paperrex going for the quad peak. Munchkin gone. Ash out of position. Texture off to the other end to try to bail out his teammate. A double kill is not too bad. And that allows for Ash to refill that space. Repeak once again. Suggest down from the top. Mindfreak trying to answer back in a one-on-one.
Nice!
A bit of a tap, and Keren's down in the dirt.
Mindfreak di bos.
1v1 going the way of Paperrex this time. We keep trading them backwards and forwards. If you remember that the Munchkin something duels that we had on the last half as well. I think we've just seen like the trading of both relay bolts, of both special deliveries, fault lines. Like, we want this Sands control at the moment, but unfortunately it's just, you know, GENG wanted a re-one time. They're not able to win that one.
Yeah, both sides.
Gila GENG top rank, bro.
Brawl, but currently Paperrex have been successful.
Yep.
Just being able to find these trades. With that though, okay, we got an ult coming out from Texture. Trying to go in for the spams, but Paperrex are happy to stick themselves together, watching each other's back shoulder to shoulder. Still though, out from the A main area, Suggest finds a double. Paperrex answers back. It's
udah plan ke B aja, plan ke B. Nah, udah Jason jangan dikejar terus.
Still not too bad for GENG. They are still in this fight, but at the end of it all, Komodo, you gotta admit, Paperrex, they are close to that map point.
Yeah, 100%, and with being as efficient as they were in the previous couple of rounds, they are going to be all getting their ultimates in towards the next round, bar one. I mean, if Devi picks up the orb, right, he gets the Armageddon, and then you just got
satu lagi, biar safe dulu yuk.
Be these really scary rounds. I wouldn't actually be surprised going into this next round, Quack, if we do see some sort of orb maintenance on the side of GENG, right? Because I've just noted that they're
something panas juga di something
close to a couple of their ultimates as well, and in this sort of situation, you need something big from GENG to start to come back on this defensive side.
I do wonder what that could be, though. Ults for sure, but right now, as the rounds play on, you know, it's been Paperrex.
Bisa.
To wrangle it back from them. Paperrex still happy to play around south side of the map. So GENG a little bit more respect now, but they are happy to peek all the way out just to check if Paperrex are on the other end. Not too much in terms of the information department, and Paperrex
bisa guys, yuk.
into the B site.
And to be able to
kalian juga banyak kan?
With not really needing to use too much of their ults whatsoever until that orbital comes on down, they're going to set themselves up nicely for this post.
Being able to block GENG off. Oh, a bit of positioning from something as well, but look at that. Oh, he still takes the frag against Texture. Oh, Ash for the trade, so not too bad. And that's going to be the Armageddon, you're right. Still need to find the right position, the right timing for it. One Armageddon out, another Armageddon back in from Devi. Mindfreak goes for the peak, Devi finds the frag, Forsaken out for the last one. Paperrex to reach map
Udah suggest, lu mending jadi kembaran gue aja nggak apa-apa guys. Biar nembaknya kayak tai kayak biasa.
I think this is like one of my favorite things to say in this game of Valorant so far. Stuns are cosmetic. Doesn't really matter. Something's still getting that kill using his.
Udah suggest lu jadi kembaran gue aja bro.
But in the grand scheme of things, it does not matter because Paperrex still get.
Biar lu kayak gue ya susah lu bottom frag ya udah nggak usah nembak selain dah apa.
6 map points. They're sitting in a like really comfy chair, laying back at the moment. It's padded. It's a good place to be for them.
Definitely shaking off those initial map nerves, and that diligent aim training paying off for something. I mean, he didn't let go of that
udah ya.
not a bit. Now Paperrex peeling off.
Mana saja?
Back in with the A hit. Mindfreak finds the first. Forsaken now in with the next. Overdrive as well. And Genji look to reclaim, but it's not quite happening. Not yet. Oh my word. Steel Garden as well for Mindfreak.
Yeah. Able to actually gather it from the previous round and this round and use it, and
it feels as though everything is over.
Yeah.
Suggest Keren. They do have a neural theft, so trying to take their time with things, keeping themselves together.
Suggest lu kayak gua aja, jangan ngakil-ngakil deh.
Time ticking. Play for the time of it. Yes, that's what that utility is for. Forces Genji to reclaim space again, but back up towards tower. That's where Paperrex are all playing around. Here comes the utility once more.
Udah, gitu aja udah. Jangan ngakil-ngakil.
So uncomfortable just to put Paperrex back up on top of their own map pick. The final score on Fracture.
Gua bilang guys, Paperrex tuh sometimes kalau mainnya kayak begini guys, nembak udah. Udah perangnya pasti menang guys.
In that one, some really good ideas, some really good spawn side crunches, north side crunches, just getting really dirty. I mean, how many duels did we see where there's 3, 4 people from each team just getting involved in these fights, and Paperrex coming on top or bowing out with an equalization. You know, they're really loving the scrap plays on a map like Fracture, but then still able to come out with these really good space takes as well, and a good beginning, middle, end. This new identity of Paperrex. I mean, they're getting, you know, they're having to go through the reps on stage to try and figure out what is going to be working for them with all these different role swaps. But Forsaken, I mean, over the course of these 2 maps, he's really been set up by his team well.
Oh yes.
And I think that's really pivotal for this new little look for Paperrex. And on the flip side for Genji on this map, right? I don't even think it's one of those problems where we've seen, you know, like Suggest be bullied
Itu akun Jeng bukan akun Jeng, setahu gue ya guys. Itu pakai akun ini guys. Kalau misalnya apa sih? Kalau misalnya yang kayak gini tuh nggak pakai akun pribadi. Soalnya kalau pakai akun pribadi ini guys, nggak mungkin bisa bro. Kan kelihatan guys ntar match historinya bro. Saja Korean, tapi campuran kayaknya. Tuh guys, yang live yang ini siapa guys? Bang Winda pasti lagi live nih Bang Winda guys. Aku tak mengejarmu sejak kau pergi, karena kau tak pernah cinta lagi, tapi ku ingin mengerti kalau ku tak pernah memiliki. Udah mau Winda guys.
Jadi anak-anak mau pulang mudik. Pulang dulu ya. Celing akhirnya mudik. Juga sisa hati-hati kalau
Kelas tuh kalau kita pulang 30
tahun
Gue belum ke rumahnya Upi yang ini guys, ke Bandung.
Mudik juga. Kok mau mudik tidak? Mami tahun ini ngambilin baju buat Koko ya. Tahun lalu mah ada dia pakai baju. Mia. Halo, aku sebegitu banyak.
Tuh apaan cok?
Besok.
Mau Winda guys.
Waalaikumsalam.
Miau.
Makin sepi.
Ini bakal digabunginnya dan tatnya dari sama
Marco. Miau.
Ditinggal 30. Oh enggak.
Enggak tahu pilotnya cowok banget.
Apa?
Pilotnya cowok ini.
Oh pilotnya cowok. Oke. Jadi ini Spek Pro dulu ya. Nanti mungkin kita bakal vlog ke pengennya ya. Semua. Ini nanyanya ke aku pribadi, katanya dia mau nanya kilo sekarang. Saya kenalannya yuk. Izin nanya
Balu
gimana
kayak Suges berak.
tahun ini udah aja Suges ini jalan kayak akun tahun streaming.
Enak juga ya mereka ya guys ya. Anak-anak rumahnya Upi pada mau nge-vlog cok.
Kalau kamu mudik nggak? tahun ini? Kemana?
Ke Pajajaran.
Oh, ke Pajajaran, masih Bandung ya? Masih Bandung ya. Terus Jut, mana katanya mau ke Garut Jut?
Gimana mobil?
Oh, gimana mobil? Apa enggak juga ya? Nah, gitu. Vlog ya udah gitu. Beli sekarang masalah dari awal. Mungkin udah puas.
Selasa kayaknya jadi ke Bandung guys. Bandung Selasa guys.
Bang,
Balik.
Bang gimana kesan pesannya selama bulan puasa?
Selama bulan puasa
Kan selalu ngisi live streaming sahur kan ya Bang?
iya, aku sama Upi.
Ya.
Jadi ya seneng sih, maksudnya seneng dan bangga lah tentunya ya. Udah berhasil.
Upi tuh kayak gua guys.
Pas video ini terekam 29 hari.
Mostly tuh orangnya nyantai, diem, ngobrol aja bro. Lebih orangnya lebih introvert kalau di rumahnya kayak gini guys. Kalau ketemu temen
juga, karena gue juga ngeliat Upi, Upi nih straight nih sahur gitu.
Paling kita buat apa sih, buat milkshake gitu.
Jadi senang dan bangga Mas.
Senang dan bangga ya. Tahun kemarin juga. Isi juga.
Tapi tahun kemarin Upi yang datang ke aku.
Oh.
WFD aku Upi. Tahun ini aku yang ke Upi. Tahun lalu belum ada bus ya?
Udah dong.
Oh, udah ya.
Kan gua di rumah nungguin bus. Iya. Mana dekat.
Tapi bus berapa duit sih guys? Gua pakai bus guys ya.
Jadi cepet ya.
Cepet itu ke rumah Upi.
Iya.
Enak.
Kali kita pulang MPL nggak sih?
Oh iya, buang MPL bener.
RRQAE.
Gue RRQAE.
Bus berapa sih guys? Bus. Berapa itu harganya guys? Ini 350 mahal amat cok. Aku ntar Selasa naik bus aja ya. Mahal ya? Mending naik travel sih kalau gua. Book now. From Halim, Karawang, Padalarang, Tegular, Halim. Tuh. Bandung paling dekat mana guys? Padalarang apa Tegular, Sumarekon guys? Kalau nggak buru-buru nggak usah, nggak buru-buru sih gue mah. Gue paling naik travel 100.000 sampai ke Bandung kota dari Jakarta. Ada larang ya? Mahal banget nih 275 jadi guys.
Nggak di mana-mana lagi. Onik.
Nggak jadi guys.
Nggak ada di cut.
Nggak jadi guys.
Berarti pertama kali ya Bang kesini ya Bang?
Ya rumah yang ini.
Rumah yang ini. Ya. Yang waktu kemarin ke Bandung ya?
Bandung ya.
Oh di Bandung.
Bau kucing tuh yang rumah Bandung tuh.
Sekarang kucingnya pada di belakang semua. Gimana Bang rumahnya?
Hampir sama ya justru ya. Rumah yang sekarang sama yang dulu. Vibe-nya kuning juga lampunya. Bagus gede ya.
Yeah.
Studio UPI juga tadi udah mampir. Lebih proper ya.
Iya lebih proper. Berarti ada niatan tetangga.
Guys, gua ntar ya nggak tahu ya sih. Mungkin Bang Winda ntar bakal ini sih, apa sih bakal house tour. Soalnya bentar lagi Bang Winda bakal pindah guys ke rumah guys. Gua kemarin udah mampir ke rumahnya dia. Studionya udah jadi, rumahnya lagi direnov lagi. Ya ntar mau kalau Bang Winda udah pindah ke rumah kita bakal sering main sih kayaknya ke rumah Bang Winda guys. Soalnya kalau sekarang karena masih studio kecil jadi susah ke situ sempit. Ya, kalau udah jadi rumahnya guys. Rumahnya di mana Bang? Ya masih di daerah sana ya. Daerah masih sama guys. Tapi at least Bang Winda nanti studionya udah ini guys, udah rapi nanti guys. Di Bekasi, daerah Bekasi pokoknya guys. Cuman setahu gue mungkin tengah tahun atau akhir tahun nanti guys udah jadi harusnya. Kalau yang ini di rumah yang ini udah nggak ada bocil lagi pasti guys. Soalnya udah pakai sapam kan, udah klaster gitu, udah pasti nggak ada ini guys. Aman guys. Tapi emang karena kita bakal mungkin bakal lebih sering ketemu karena Karena gini guys, karena rumah yang itu dia ada apa sih, ada kayak namanya cluster ya, ada apa sih, ada lapangan olahraga, ada lapangan apa sih, bulu tangkis, ada tempat gym. Jadi bakal ada kolam renang, bakal sering main-main kayak ngobrol gitu. Ngobrol apa sih, kayak olahraga bareng gitu loh. Kalau deket. Sport club ya, sport club. Kalau kata Bang Winda gini guys, kalau kata Bang Winda nih guys, ya at least studio gua gak kalah sama studio Bang Rio katanya gitu guys, katanya kemarin guys, anjing. Pas gua ngeliat studionya, ya at least gua udah bisa gak kalah lah ya sama Rio katanya gitu bangsa. Karena kan Bang Winda doang kan yang gak pernah pengen upgrade studio dia, Cok, yang di rumah ini sekarang. Katanya gitu guys, berak. Kalau gue kan tipe orang yang demen teknologi, jadi gue suka upgrade apa gue suka gue beli, gue upgrade, gue renov gitu. Guys, kemarin kita guys
10.000 dari heboh 168. Pesan, tanpa basa-basi langsung meriahkan heboh 160.
Anjing kegocek gue bangsat. Bacot heboh ya bacot. By the way guys, kemarin anak-anak Jaya sempat ngobrol guys ya. Kita kan ngobrol tuh pas di ulang tahunnya Bang Winda guys.
So siapa? 10.000 dari naga.
Jelas anjing. Jadi gini guys, jadi kita kemarin ngobrol guys ya. Kita ngobrol. Kan apa sih kan maraton bakal kelar guys. Kemarin tuh belum kelar kan, tapi bakal kelar. Terus siapa gitu loh yang bakal bikin konten seru lagi kayak Bang Arab gitu guys. Kita mikir kan, kalau Bang Fandi ngomong kayak coba gak sih kayak kita bikin Jaya e-sport walaupun yang udah tipenya udah jarang ketemu, jarang ngumpul. Maksudnya jarang konten bareng. Mau gak bikin kayak gitu, katanya kayak gitu guys, ditanyain kan. Cuman kayak bikinnya, kalau gue bikin kalau misalnya sama kayak gitu males kan ya, kita juga udah pada tua, punya pasangan. Kita gak bisa guys nggak bisa lama-lama kayak sebulan gitu, nggak bisa bro. Kita punya our own life lah bro. Kita punya sih udah tua-tua semua lah, udah 30, 33, 30-an semua rata-rata sekarang guys. Terus jadi kita mikir guys. Why? Kita coba Arab 44, Arabnya doang, anak-anak yang lain kan masih pada muda, Cok. Masih beberapa banyak yang muda. Terus mereka juga apa sih anak jiwa muda semua guys. Kita jiwa introvert semua, masih mending, Cok. Mereka mah anak-anaknya emang extrovert semua guys, enak. Nah, jadi kita ngobrol guys. Ntar sabar.
GENG versus Paperrex, it's none other than Komodo and Quack.
Terus kita mikir guys. How if we make dengan low production, kita bikin misalnya kita kayak hitungannya kita kayak sebuah channel, satu channel aja yang live. Tapi nggak harus channel Bang Winda, karena kita bakal open donate kan. Jadi kita open donate, kita misalnya jalan-jalan ke Borobudur naik bus, tapi busnya di setup kamera gitu guys, bolak-balik guys, dalam 2 hari aja cukup, itu jadi satu konten. Seru tuh kayak guys. Tapi di busnya kayak apa sih, kayak di variety Korea, jadi kameranya depan belakang, ada di tengah juga, jadi bisa kalau ngobrol mic-nya masuk semua. Mantep gak? Terus kalau turun tuh ada turun ada kamera turunnya juga. Tapi harus ada krunya juga, emang susah. Tapi emang susah guys. Kayak bikin kayak gitu tuh gue bisa nyetap, gue bisa bantu nyetap. Tapi emang butuh modal, butuh niat. Yang satu ya, butuh janji yang gak palsu.
Udah rugi 10.000. Yang promosi judi mikir AJG.
Spike quickly down.
Kalau nyari kru gampang lah, nyari kru gampang guys, gue yakin. Anak-anak komunitas pasti banyak yang mau bantuin guys. Dan yang budgetnya kita nggak bisa mahal-mahal lah, kita bukan Bang Arab ya guys ya. Tapi ya kita juga nggak bakal Borobudur susah ngerekam Bang. Kenapa kalah Ji?
Keren. A bit of a risky dive. The pickup by GENG nonetheless, but still round ultimately picked up by GENG.
Jadi kayak paling kita akan nyetap seadanya kita guys. Kita nggak akan nyetap yang terlalu heavy karena kita pengen low budget ya. Jadi kalau misalnya kemungkinan besar pakai kemungkinan besar nggak pakai kamera semua guys. Karon panas banget Karon anjing, Karon babi.
So it's a good little pistol to come down from the Korea side. And now to, see no force buy from Paperrex, because
ada Sentinel nggak sih? Oh, ada Dava Sentinel sih.
On this defensive side, trying to command some space up through lobby and surprise Munchkin here.
It's also a fact that Paperrex didn't find
buat
too much in the
Watson
first
tapi
round,
itu masih kemarin masih pembicaraan doang.
If they want to go for the force buy, but they are happy to triple swing in. Gate crash as well for Forsaken, and that's going to be Suggest rearing his sights. Does find the frag. Now finds himself somewhat swarmed. Every Paperrex player converging into his position. It's just a ghost.
Kalau menang sih ya pakai cuman serif doang guys. GG sih.
Yeah, eventually Jing's going to have the salvos back online, but they're just going to line up for texture.
That's some armor-piercing rounds that he must have equipped, Komodo. Fault line out from something. But ultimately for Paperrex to try to find some maps, it's not go through. Salvo's in, something with the Marshall. Does find a bit of a tap. Oh wait, what?
Hang on.
Double kill.
Refresh the one way.
Still trying to be careful. And Jiggy with the jump peek. Look at Mindfreak's something's crosshair placement. Oh, he comes back into it. Finds every kill, no defuse, but he's happy with that one.
Oh, GENG, they get the round, but at what cost? Something's able to escape with the 3 kills, the Phantom as well, so that's an upgrade in towards the next rounds.
Halfway to his Rolling Thunder.
Yeah, and you're going to see on this defensive side as well some quite the prowess with an Outlaw in this sort of scenario as well, because as GENG, how are you playing this bonus round, right? Are you more favoring the lesser weaponry to have a salvageable situation?
Something menyala wih.
Maybe get this round. If we don't, it is the bonus round. So it's a wise idea for somebody like Forsaken to come out with an Outlaw in this round that'll mince out a couple of these players.
Apart from that, GENG, if you're in their shoes now, you're constantly worried about what Paperrex might throw your way. So taking things a little bit slower than before, trying to work with this Viper as well, the toxic screen that
Diam terus Dah.
We've seen when you're running a Viper on this map and this cut towards the B side as well, how you try to play around it, how you try to get these lurks happening, and Forsaken's just read into that one. There was a lot of Cypher util here, Quack, as well. It's still here.
Oh, but Keren once again with the Shrouded steps up behind. Something finding the trade. Ash to answer back. Texture has the angle, has the positioning with a Bucky. Mindfreak, though, trying to get ahead. Will be able to track down his first target, the second one as well. And now to just Suggest. Out from the open lanes of mid. Oh, boy. The fake out.
Oh, that smoke helps him put the mollies on.
All right, hit by the flash. Will burn down the timer just by a bit, but still, that came a little bit close.
It looks very close there, doesn't it? I was going to say, it's a 1 versus 2. It was a 2 versus 3. A bit of ill timing from
besok WP boom lagi nggak bang bareng Kuaci? Mungkin iya guys, mungkin iya guys. Boom lawan siapa besok guys? Hampir kena one tap cok, Jason cok.
His first debut on
utility. He has played it one before, so it's just going to be teething issues. That's the biggest thing for him right now, right? Timing on utility. We've seen it be a bit of a plague for him when he was playing the Omen last time. So again, it's really big learnings for this whole team. And in this sort of round as well, right? That was the bonus round to come through from GENG. How close to they?
Jason kayak lemes banget bro. Son senyum, senyum.
One of those things that Paperrex will have to keep in view.
Lihat apa TP
Right
apa.
now, at least, Keren, again, the Shrouded step. They kind of missed each other until Forsaken turns upwards. Bit of A lobby control, but GENG happy to trade right back.
They've just won every duel around the map, essentially, here.
We didn't get to catch too many of it either.
They all happened at the same time. And then Texture's just there to close out the round. So sometimes that does just happen. Paperrex trying to get a little bit too aggressive over at A, a little bit too jump spotty at C, and then you already have GENG on the line. That one is a little bit rough. So what do you got going for you as Paperrex in this next round? I mean, are you going to feel hungry enough to use a dimensional drift to try and find any space on this defensive side to get an advantage? You've already proven that you're being able to do that with just a little bit of
Kenapa sih
less
C di push,
utility
Cok? Gue bingung, Cok.
over A before
Kan
getting
ada
straight
Cypher
down
ya.
from
Satu
GENG.
Cypher main kamera aja nggak sih, ngepick kamera gitu, guys. Dia demen banget ngepick berdua gitu, guys. Ke mainnya jadi kalah, Cok. Itu yang bikin kalah. Tekstur lagi nyala lagi, bangsat.
Aggressive plays from Paperrex. GENG starting to find some adaptations against that. So keeping themselves grouped up early on in towards window. Paperrex with the stack in towards A lobby.
Yep. Gamble stack towards A. See if the strength in numbers approach is going to be able to do anything for them when they hear all this utility coming up. You're going to potentially go for the flank. I wonder if they're just going to dark cover the alarm bot and sneak by, or if they're just going to trip it. So it will be tripped. So the idea for GENG, they know the flank's coming.
Well, Paperrex, they might have some ultimates, but they're not quite able to deploy them. As you mentioned, Komodo, all of these trips and everything being red, Texture trying to get ahead of it as well. And now with that, okay, a bit of a Phantom picked up. Still could find a couple more, both jumping together at the same time. Ooh, what a flick!
Kalau menang sih GG sih.
But 11 HP.
Yeah, and the time's still ticking against him.
Now you know where Keren will be with his flash.
Oh, the flash close range though. Keren still in and quick with the dolphin dive on the classic right click.
Gets close, man. It's another round that gets really close to the way of GENG. I mean, you got to be a little bit more cautious if you're just going in towards these fights. Technically,
Tapi nasi kok.
right? GENG in a lot of those fights, they
mereka
work,
defender dulu, guys. Memang tuh defendernya tuh emang kurang banget.
What if the classic didn't work for Keren there? What if, you know, it's always the question. What if, question mark. Now you're going into a fresh round where the guns are back for Paperrex and they have picked up 2 extra ultimates to be able to get another round on this defensive side. Setting up their Cypher.
Ambil berapa? Ambil minimal ambil 4 nggak sih? Usah ngapus nggak sih, bro? Ngapus mati Jason nih. Baca banget kasih Son, di situ Son, sumpah Son.
Forsaken definitely needing to respect what could be very well.
Smoke terus dimajuin, kebaca banget masalah kasih guys, itu bahaya banget.
Slow one from GENG as well, right? Paperrex, they've had to contend with a lot of ups and down plays between slow and fast. This time though, there's going to be a big test on towards Main Freak on this C site.
He's already tossed out the Paranoia as well. Cages up, salvos sent all the way through. Now the Armageddon coming out from GENG. It does somewhat keep, oh, well, GENG at bay until the Strata steps through. Munchkin and everyone else have been able to flood in the side once again.
Wifi kurang banget pakai Sentinel lagi, bro.
Only one left. Even with ult spent, not quite able to convert the round. GENG look near unstoppable right now.
Yeah, the timing on that suppression as well on the backside, not able to Shrouded step out. But he still manages to get a kill before being traded out. But ultimately, I mean, a lot of those ultimates being exchanged around the C-site.
Keren padahal udah ketahuan situ loh, guys.
A bit of space. GENG getting a lot of the crossfires at the end of it and sneaking Munchkin in towards window as well. I mean, you watch back on these replays at the moment.
Pakai Sentinel masih masuk mulu, guys. Sumpah, kenapa ya?
Dripping that kill feed in red. Eventually, they'll target towards a spike plant, but the round gets done with the extra kill. So you got to have a discussion now. You have to have another talk as Paperrex.
Susah banget, guys.
Can't escape it. We can coulda, shoulda, woulda all we want, but the scoreline is what it is. And GENG are just doing a phenomenal job at reading Paperrex's plays currently.
Yeah, I mean, one of the massive weaknesses that we saw from Paperrex against DRX was this defensive side, right? They got a single round. It was
susah banget mereka, kenapa ya guys ya?
And apart from that, DRX on that double duelist, right? That opened up them to have a lot of different options for some later flanks, for some quick dives. This is a different look, right? GENG, the nature of their play right now with their agents, it plays a lot differently, but they're still really just layering their approach. They're getting their duels, they're getting their trades. Paperrex is trying to find a lot of this space heavily towards the A site early on in this map. And whilst Forsaken has, won a couple of those duels, how often has that just been mitigated almost immediately?
That's all thanks to, once again, GENG just recognizing what Paperrex are trying to execute. So, coach's intervention, and Paperrex look to, well, show GENG some different looks.
Yeah,
it is an eco.
That's it, right? It's an eco. GENG are not getting too overconfident to just rush anywhere at the moment. They're seeing if Paperrex are going to throw anything their way, if there's going to be any mid control, anything up to the wings of the map.
You can do this, bro. Kalau gini terus susah sih, guys. Pusing gue juga, guys. Lihat ya, guys.
Slower progression through towards A.
Kalau nggak bisa defend, mendingan retake gitu. Udah pilihannya udah dua itu, guys. Defend kalau nggak retake, kalau nggak ya.
And again, with time elapsed, they go back to what they're comfortable with. The stack up. GENG, however, not a full commit.
Yeah, all the utility that's just been expended for Paperrex.
It keeps Paperrex on this A site.
Yeah. And now you're just going to be able to waltz up towards B if you want to stretch it into
Ini
C.
selalu lepas, bro. Nggak bisa, bro. Mereka eco soalnya juga pasti.
Use your Viper's wall as well to this B site. You could still technically even have a lurk if you wanted to, so something going to be interested for either lurk control or flank play. It's going to be the ladder now with the plant and the pit to the B site.
Well, the first thing is that you have to deal with texture, maybe the second player as well, Ash. Happy to watch his team's 6. Salvos, just to flush out of position as well, and Paperrex should anticipate where he is, but still, with the flash, Forsaken not quite able to convert. Ash will continue to remain as a thorn in Paperrex's sides. And another obstacle in with the Viper's Pit as well. The triple from Ash, dealing significant damage. Divide with 1 HP. Okay, good little domer, but still, that's the round.
6 on the board for GENG. I mean, one might argue it's an eco, and they've invested a Viper's Pit and a lockdown, but they're navigating these rounds well, right? They're trying to 100% them after you consider that there's been a couple where they've had one soldier, no soldiers remaining, right? They want to try and 100% these rounds to make it a little bit cleaner for them.
GENG tajam, guys. Ini lagi tajam, guys. GENG lihat. GENG nggak setajam apa sih kemarin. Saya hari ini lebih tajam dia daripada kemarin. Oh, ini minimal harus dapat 3 atau 4 sih, guys, biar takernya aman. Kalau dapat cuma 2, aduh berat banget, bro. 3 atau 4, guys. 3 atau 4, 4 lah bisa lah.
Still though, the score line is what it is.
Itu trapnya kenapa gitu ya?
Paperrex having some ultimates in their pockets right now, but GENG once again slowly stretching their legs down mid. Trying to find some trips. Trying to bait out more reactions from Paperrex. It's just texture. Pull back all the way through. But with the trip, Defy will punish. Still though, GENG off of the contact straight in from Garage. Rolling Thunder collapsed in full. Defy looking for an opportunity to strike, but Munchkin denies it outright. GENG has
Defy nggak nyaman banget main Sentinel, guys. Sumpah, guys. Aneh banget gameplay.
C-Link. Forsaken trying to create some chaos with the flash out from Garage. Finds a couple out from Jing as well, and that's Ash gone. Paperrex able to strike back.
Si Defy kelihatan banget, guys, nggak nyaman banget main Sentinel, guys.
What might have been thought of a B play turning in towards a C play. And in the Kaos, Paperrex, I mean, they weather it through. Forsaken,
Jing mungkin masih belum kelihatan ya, biasa aja.
Individually, he got some assistance from the salvos that come out on towards the site to force the GENG
timingnya jelek banget, bro.
Some good repositions as well from GENG around that site when they're trying to establish.
Itu nice flash sih, nice flash. Itu flashnya kayak flashnya si Something sama itu bareng, guys. Flash Something sama flashnya Jason bareng, jadi mereka nggak bisa ini. Harus kayak gitu, mainnya harus ke flash bareng sih menurut gua. Defy harusnya main inisiator sih biasanya.
GENG building up to some of their own ultimates as well.
Yeah, Paperrex changing it up this time, putting Defy towards the A site by himself, but sneaking Forsaken up through grass, and that is not how you want a round to start. He's by himself, right? How much did we see suggest, you know, die last time, or just a peek out of Garage from an individual?
Yeah, that's going to leave a mark, Komodo.
I think it was Flashback who was peeking out Garage a lot that was being taken out when these two guys played.
Just a week ago. But still, we've got Defy up on the
nice fight.
Trips, allowing him to find a single pick. Armageddon deployed, allowing for GENG to get the spike down safely. Drones out from Paperrex though, and they're looking to play off of the timing of things. Defy with the flood back in, takes down Keren. Ash in around the cage though, finds the trade.
Mereka lagi tajam, guys.
It's a triple.
Tajam itu tajam, bro. Lihat tuh.
Suggest to close it out.
Udah kena util segitu banyak, so masih bisa nge-kill banyak anjing.
Time before the spike has even been planted for Paperrex, so GENG able to dance around the site, using those cages quite nicely is Ash, and just doubling on down. That's a huge risk at the very beginning from Forsaken to go out by himself, by the way, so you might want to reel that in a little bit later on, or really now, right? Because you're trailing behind quite significantly. This defensive side is still plaguing them. So on the new round, what differences are we going to look for them? Are we going to see some mid-control attempted? Salvo's going to buy some time for any little peekings out Garage, but you're going to already just have to sit here because of how close GENG are gathering this mid-control. He wants it. He so wants it.
It's a little bit risky, though. Munchkin happy to play with the economy as well and outline this round. And GENG just... once again, waiting for a single peep out
Anjing banget mereka cuy, anjing. Kemarin Evan-nya dia nggak begini bro, masalahnya kemarin Evan-nya.
Pushes the rest of them, happy to push into the A site. Still though, with the peeks out, bit of a trade, maybe a weapon picked up.
I mean, every time we've seen silence around this A site, you know Paperrex are not playing there whatsoever, right? So GENG eventually should recognize this and have to turn around to watch the flags. Forsaken again! Just cannot get anything happening here.
Well, Devi at least will come here to pick up the pieces, so in with the Sheriff, but that texture out towards A-Link. And also off to the ends, Devi only able to find the one. GENG will continue with this forward momentum.
Yeah, Ash's assistance is looking pretty phenomenal at the moment. I'm not gonna lie.
Tiga orang nyala di GENG, guys.
Salvos, or he's just being a body to be able to watch other angles for the names like Texture at the moment. I mean, he's really looking a bit proficient on this map specifically. And then you still got some, you know, great timing on all of these smokes and assistive utilities to coming from Keren as well. I mean, GENG, they've certainly adjusted things in the middle of this game in the weeks difference that they had from the previous
game ini cuman butuh kalau misalnya lu tajam, tim lu tajam bertiga berempat udah bakal dominating lumayan, guys.
Not able to find too much, but here comes the operator, able to find the first. Tries to go in for the next as well, but Devi is here and able to assist. Ooh, not quite the gate crash, but still, Keren, Shroud steps over. Devi finds him. Quick to react and quick and aware. Just Munchkin left. Tries to deliver the spike all the way over onto A, but Paperrex happy to play with numbers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a 1 versus 4. There's no pit available for Munchkin either, but you get the orb, you get the plant. That's an extra 2. That'll let you go 2 away towards the pit. You've got a minute to play with as well. These are the sort of scenarios that can really showcase value in an individual if you're able to find a kill or 2 before getting a plant, for example. But for Paperrex, they are just not giving it to him. Now they know it's planted at A.
Bos, cepat kan nih bos, jam 7 kan, jam 7, aman jam 7.
Because if he gets enough, that could be a pit, and that could be
strong in the next round.
Yeah, next round as well. Namely
Ya
that.
Allah, timingnya
Might
jing.
give GENG the 9 and 3. Salvos at least just
Waktu, woy, waktu.
Ultimately, Paperrex has the site currently. Munchkin though, happy to play off the first. Paperrex now in for a bit of a triple, but what is that spray? Oh, he's getting the transfer. He's getting the last one as well. The Red Bull clutch. Munchkin devours Paperrex in whole.
What did I just say? It's the individual moments that can certainly showcase us champions, right? In these sort of scenarios, it's a 1 versus 4, man. They didn't technically even peak individually. Yeah, sure, something did first in the beginning. All right, you give him that. Now we know where the guy is. But you're in a dark cover. 1, 2, the spray transfer there. Jin comes out the exact same angle. He doesn't need to move his crosshair, man.
You can't escape the truth, Komodo. That one breaks your heart. Down to the last of the first half.
Shreds it into pieces.
Paperrex.
Back to the slow play, putting Forsaken to be individual over towards the A site to try and hold a forward line with the Guardian here. Okay, a difference, Quack, a difference. He gets the opening kill.
Flashes out over as well and looks for a little bit more, but still
traded.
Punished once again. No gate crash found.
If you're able to now as GENG get into this A site that's open as well, you set yourselves up a Viper's Pit.
Okay, at least starting to read more of GENG's tendencies now. They've sussed out Suggests Lurk. And a quick read into the A site. They should have the timing, but the salvos from Ash throws it off. Devi at least able to find a bit of spray through a tight angle. Munchkin, though, off that clutch from before, pulls out the pit, denies possible entry.
30 seconds.
Rears his crosshairs over to the top of heaven and finds the crucial double.
How has he found both there?
Just Mindfreak now. And with that pit still up, I can't imagine Mindfreak able to do too much. He doesn't have to flash either. At least tries to work his way into the pit, eliminating the first obstacle around the back.
All the decay now.
Yeah,
Lo nggak dicek
just a
sama.
single whisper and he's gone.
Sekian banyak, oh, itu nggak
The
dicek,
rest of
bro.
them all playing around the spike. Straight through the dark cover, and it's way too simple. Slim pickings for Paperrex and GENG. Happy to end this first half 10-2.
Done it again, another 4K for Munchkin. He has just had some big step-up moments in those two, hasn't he? I mean, the beginning, that's a first blood for Forsaken, but then gets hungry for some more, traded out. Yeah, you got something stretching on towards Suggest, but I mean, when that pit goes down, it's just Munchkin, isn't it? 4 big kills. I mean, that GENG, that's rough. You've kind of just been accidental jumping in towards your teammates, well, technically corpse as it happens just there. That's a big scoreline difference, mate. That's what that is, 10-2. I mean, we know that the defensive side was a worrisome side for Paperrex, but it's the first half here, right? It means that on this switch up, if you have any faults, if you drop the pistol and the second round, which are arguably, you know, the weaker ones, right? That's already 12. That's map point. That's series point for GENG. It has to start now, and you've really not given yourselves any breathing room.
Almost feels suffocating if you're in
100%. I mean, for
Paperrex right now.
For GENG, right? They're one of the teams that we're thinking in this group alpha to be top 4. I mean, a lot of people would say for Paperrex as well. We're staring down both of these teams winless right now. One of these teams will go 0-2.
And that's what you've really got to think about. That's what Alex could be thinking about as well. But you just don't have that much time to worry about all of these concerns.
Yeah, I mean,
you need to turn this map around. Yes, Group Alpha, you lose this, and that could impact the rest of your performance in this season. And GENG are just bursting at the seams to bring this to its conclusion.
There's a lot of pressure on this pistol round for Paperrex, man. Like, this has to 100% be theirs. They've got to get the bonus round. Like, there's just so much.
Oh, look at GENG. He's setting up huge traps, a bit of a pinch in towards this A lobby position as well, in case Paperrex decides to disrespect this smoke.
And they're not really all hanging around it either.
Oh, here it comes though. GENG, the slow creep out. And they have all the protocols in place to find the trades. GENG finding a bit of a punish as well. And with that, something with the support to push out. Forsaken finding the frag, but Ash! Off of the flashes, the little corner unchecked. He finds a double. And remember, something with low HP getting the spike down.
Ash is not the person that tags something as well, right? So you got to consider how much damage has been done towards him. 20 HP. Fault line going to come online eventually, but Ash has just used his salvos, so he's not going to have them for this one. It's going to come down to timing and a little bit of luck.
Where could they be? Something. Considering thinking about it.
Nice!
Boxed him by the little sliver, quick with the reaction. Shoots down to the corpse for a bit of mental boost as well, but Paperrex happy to take that one.
I mean, you needed it, right? You absolutely needed it. Does it incentivize you as GENG, though, here for this next round when, you know, they're 10-2, 10-3 up right now. It's a 1 versus 1 at the end of it. Do you go for a force? If you're playing towards the numbers and you're doing 2024 GENG things, you want to play to your strengths, right? So just take this round for what it is. It's an eco, and then have your big old guns in the next one, and that does look like what is going to happen.
Sekarang mancing turun lagi, coy, anjing.
Smiles, especially in something's face. He's happy to try to keep that forward. Salvo straight in for a quick A main control.
Yep.
Jason just sendiri nggak sih, Son?
Continue to keep on going here, and if Ash and if Keren are going to do anything over here.
Look at texture up by mid, though. You've got the trip, so...
Yeah, you can't really get past that, can you?
Trying to keep our eyes on that at least, but still Forsaken to get deep back behind sight. Forsaken with the stinger kill to start things off. Fault line out, but oh, Ash with a nasty right click. Instantly in for the punish. Another dive from Keren, but Devi will be able to convert. Finding Ash now as well, so that's a safe site, a safe plant. Devi hearing the footsteps off the other end. Feeling the punch from Texture Sheriff now, but at least positions made known. Mindfreak for the swing, in with the support from something. Suggest still able to at least sneak a kill off. It's not impossible. Mindfreak is down quite low, but in with the sprays out the sides of the smoke. And Suggest repositions.
If you can get Mindfreak here, I mean, you're pretty happy. Otherwise, you just go up with the spike.
Just need to spray him down, though. So back off to the other end. Forsaken now onto the Vandal will be able and happy to take Suggest.
I mean, the bonus rounds now, Quack. You really need to see this flawless run from Paperrex that they started off with against DRX reenacted here. 8 in a row is what we're going to kind of be chasing. And then you'd be tying things up if you consider the first 2 that they've already accumulated, right?
So they have it in them. At least we're seeing them kind of shirk off all these worries and concerns.
Wah, beli mereka, Cok.
So now, even with a bit of a half bias, Stinger or Bulldog, Paperrex happy to stare down GENG's barrel. GENG though, repositioning.
Bisa guys.
Yeah, bait out a little bit of this utility from Suggest nice and early to give you a avenue back in towards Garage if you want later on. Just the patience from Paperrex at the moment. Not seeing any overeager players of GENG give up their hand early.
How are you going to work around this Yoru utility?
Well, he's going to try and do it dry with the spike, lose his life, get traded out, and shift in towards the C play.
And that's another trade out from Munchkin as well. So the C play, unfortunately not quite working out too well for Paperrex in this round.
Punya bridge.
Why do we have a
punya
spike of
Tejo.
leading in towards Garage?
Piknya polos terus guys, 2 orang apa ya guys?
How do you retrieve this?
Whatever it is now, definitely is GENG leading the round, leading the scoreline as well, 11-4.
Yep. You've got one more kind of, you know, fault that you can have in this map as Paperrex, and then it needs to be the flawless run for an overtime. It's a little bit bleak for them. That was the bonus though, remember? So if you do think about that one, they got enough to go at this next round if you try to pace things a little bit together as a team, right? All 5 members towards this A side of things. A little bit lesser
pakai 2 inisiator itu harus dipakai dulu nggak sih satu skillnya?
So it does look a little bit weaker for them for sure, but at least you'll start to get a bit of pressure towards this A site, right? You're already making a couple of these GENG members scurry on over.
Yeah, shake it off. Still though, the pressure. That's what I'm thinking. Paperrex at least just looking to improve and solve as much as possible.
I mean, it's this point in the round as well that if you are Ash, you can use that drone down long, down sewers, you can get some significant information, but there's already an idea that this is territory that you don't occupy, right? So eventually he'll throw it. They're a little bit too close for comfort, so you know this is where the hit's coming down.
So a bit of information for GENG, very well informed. Keren still in a great position to answer back. Spike dropped, and he still finds another. Paperrex still trying to break their way out of this A-long position, but Texture with a single tap takes down Mindfreak. Devi might have slipped through, but still Keren left and unanswered. A quad kill picked up, and it brings GENG to match and series point.
Big time with the big G, GENG. I mean, he's had something here. At the end of the day, there's still a core 3 dynamic on this roster with some world-class coaches. Sometimes that might just be enough, as Quack has got his head in his arms. As one of the longer Paperrex fans.
Need your support, Komodo.
My support? I mean,
what colors am I wearing?
Is that not support for Paperrex enough?
That is true. I mean, to those who might not have seen Komodo, I mean, he is wearing purple, you know, something slightly purple and pink, Paperrex colors, basically. But all that said and done, this is still the score.
Yeah, I mean, Paperrex again.
And HSK chuckling away.
The biggest thing, man, is like defensive side haven. You can have ideas and stuff, but it's just a position that it's not favorable for Paperrex. Again, risking to float it here in this series against Pearl. One might, you know, have a thought, would Pearl have been a better option to go for in this series? We'll never know. We're not in that timeline. But they're on the attack, right? They had great macro ideas on how to play that side against DRX. They've got great ideas on how they were doing attack things, you know, on Lotus, on Fracture.
But not before, not having to be in this spot where they're up against series point before.
Yep.
So again, it's a bit of that pressure and a lot of chances for GENG. And with those chances, GENG happy to take some risks as well. Pushing down C, taking a bit of pressure off of one side of the map. Paperrex
sumpah tadi gara-gara tadi clutch 4-1 sumpah itu guys.
Straight into garage again though.
Itu udah gitu doang kerjaannya matinya.
One way off the other end as well.
Little by little for Paperrex. I mean, divide down. Jet texture. Oh, look at him. Just look at him.
Turns away off.
How is he still alive?
How is he alive and going? Overdrive back in, and that's some damage done. Paperrex trying to scramble for some defenses, but Keren's here again to deliver them to their doom. The final score of the series, 13-4. 13-4 on Haven.
And for the first time after 16 straight games in a row for